Imagine that you've been summoned to another world where death is only temporary. That's the whole idea behind ReZero, starting life in another world. It sounds amazing, right? But then, how did a nobody like this...
My name is Subaru Natsuki! Not only am I totally clueless, I'm also broke beyond compare! Nice to meet you!
And that's how you introduce yourself. You really do sound hopeless.
Go from this... to this. In this video, we're going over the entire story of ReZero so far. Our story starts in episode 1, with an ordinary guy, Subaru Natsuki, shopping for a midnight snack at a convenience store. He then walks out of the store and directly into another world. Oh, dang. Bro didn't even need to get run over by a truck.
Here I go!
Subaru suddenly finds himself in a town full of magical, mythical creatures, half animal, half people, and no technology in sight. But he's not scared like a normal person would be. Why? 'Cause he's a gamer. He knows he's the chosen hero who's been summoned to this other world to save it. God damn! This guy is all for the love of the game. And if you're anything like him, you will love the pure chaos of War Thunder. War Thunder is a free-to-play military action game where tanks, planes, helicopters, and even ships fight in locations all around the world. Each of these vehicles feels incredibly different and super realistic. Seriously, there are no health bars here. Every hit on the enemy has a realistic effect. So, if you hit their fuel tank, please expect a beautiful explosion. The game is packed with options, and it lets you play the way you want to play. Push through the front lines in a tank, support ground troops from a helicopter, or dive into intense fights high above the clouds. You've also got guided missiles, smoke screens, drones, night vision, and tons of modern tech to help you in your adventures. And you can even upgrade and customize all of it to match your playstyle. To top that, which I didn't know was possible, the new Line of Contact update makes things even crazier. Infantry, which means your own soldiers fight on foot, is now in closed testing, so battles have become even more intense with the release of this update. Plus, new vehicles such as the Terminator or Ajax on the ground, or the Typhoon or Super Hornet in the air are already here, and graphics and sound have been improved to make War Thunder feel even more authentic. Download War Thunder for free on PC, PlayStation, or Xbox using the link at the top of the description and pinned comment. And if you're a new player, or someone who hasn't played the game in 6 months or more, you even get 100,000 silver lions, the Eagle of Valor decorator, and extra bonuses as soon as you jump in. Also, if you want to play on the go, War Thunder Mobile is free on iOS and Android as well. So pick your vehicle, get in, and let the battlefield decide the rest. Alright, now back to the video. After landing in this fantastical world, Subaru thinks that he should be getting his magical powers any moment now.
This must be an event pot where I'll learn to produce magic!
Any moment now. Yeah, that's not exactly what happens. Instead of finding amazing powers and becoming a hero, Subaru stumbles through the streets, failing to be heroic. Man, where's his cool sword or the cute girl who summoned him? There's always a cute girl in these things, isn't there? Subaru thought he'd be strong and amazing in this world.
My adrenaline is surging! I can do anything! I'm sorry, it was all my fault! Seriously, forgive me, please spare me!
Instead, he's beaten up by a bunch of thugs. And that's when he meets her. A beautiful, silver-haired girl with a weirdly formal way of speaking. happens to see Subaru getting walloped on. She's kinda busy looking for a thief, but she stops to help Subaru anyway. She and her adorable tiny cat companion fight off the thugs with magic and heal Subaru.
We were just trying to make you happy and comfortable until you woke up. There's no reason to get freaked out.
Okay, so she's not the girl who summoned Subaru to another world, but she was in a hurry and stopped to help him anyway, so Subaru decides to repay her by helping her find the thief who stole something important to her, an insignia. But first, introductions are in order. The girl calls herself Satella, though that's clearly not her real name.
That's a nice name.
You have got terrible taste.
Then there's her companion, Puck, a spirit that she has a contract with. Subaru actually crossed paths with a thief named Felt earlier, who matches Satella's description.
Wait, what? Where are you going?
The three ask around town for the thief's whereabouts. It would be faster if Satella didn't stop to help every crying child in need on the way, but that's just the kind of person that she is. Kind to a fault. As night falls, Puck returns to his crystal to recharge, and Satella and Subaru find themselves in the rough part of town, alone. They find the loot house where Felt is known to hang out. Satella waits outside while Subaru heads in to confront the thief, but he finds a horrific sight. The large owner of this pawn house, Old Man Ram, is lying dead in a pool of blood, murdered. Before he can react, Subaru is stabbed. Satella comes inside to check on him and is also attacked.
I'm gonna save you.
As the two lay on the floor, dying, Subaru promises Satella that he'll save her. How he plans to do it while he's dead is a mystery, but dang, he sure has drive. However, instead of dying, Subaru wakes up back where he started, in broad daylight in front of a grumpy grocer. There's no sign of Satella or all the blood. What is going on here? Subaru doesn't waste any time. He retraces his steps and runs right back to the loot house in the slums. Old Man Ram seems pretty alive and well.
You didn't happen to, die recently, did you?
He doesn't have the insignia, but Felt arrives in the evening and she does. And she's willing to part with it for the right price. Subaru is broke as hell, but he has something that might be worth a pretty penny in this world. His phone.
It's called a cell phone.
What's that?
Never seen one of those before.
Of course, there's no service in this other world, but the phone can still take photos. This is enough to make Old Man Ram and Felt believe he has an awesome magical device worth at least 20 holy coins. Unfortunately, the insignia has already been claimed by somebody else. A smokin' hot woman named Elsa Granhirt shows up to claim the spoils. They negotiate, and Subaru wins. The woman might have money, but he has a cool time-freezing phone. If Elsa can't pay for the insignia, she'll just have to take it by force.
I see. So you're with them then?
A fight breaks out between Elsa and Ram, and she easily wins. The big man slumps to the floor dead, just like Subaru found him the previous night. Felt is struck down just as easily, leaving Subaru alone to face Elsa. He does his best, charging at her with all his might, but he's not a magic user or a fighter. The woman defeats him, then watches the life slowly drain from him. She likes to watch.
Your entrails have such an interesting shape to them and such a lovely color too.
It hurts. It hurts. It hurts.
Again, Subaru dies, and again, he wakes up back standing in front of the grocer. What the heck is going on here? Why does this keep happening to him? Subaru doesn't have time to figure it out because at that moment, he sees Satella passing by in the street. He calls out to her,
Wait up! Satella!
and instead of being happy to see him, she's furious. How dare he call her by the name of the Witch of Envy? Wow, well, that didn't exactly go according to plan. In episode 2, Subaru is told off by Satella for calling her, well, Satella. As they talk, Felt, who's clearly not dead, runs past and snatches Satella's insignia.
Wait, were you a distraction? Are you working with her?
Subaru chases her down, but winds up back in that same alleyway. Once again, he faces off against the 3 thugs. This time, he tries to run past them and instead runs right into a knife. Dying is certainly starting to become a habit for Subaru. As he lies in the alleyway bleeding out, he realizes he still has the snacks from the convenience store, which definitely gave away to the big dude last night. So either he has magical regenerating 7-Eleven chips, or something else is going on here. Subaru finds himself in front of the grocer again, and finally, he realizes what's happening. Every time Subaru dies, time rewinds.
I'll call it Return by Death.
He wanted magical powers, but that's probably not what he had in mind. Subaru realizes that if time rewound itself, then he never met Satella. And if he never met Satella, then he doesn't owe her for saving his life. But he can't just leave her. She stopped to help him and others, even when she didn't have the time to.
Even if Satella doesn't know me, that doesn't change everything.
Subaru makes up his mind to help Satella, even if there's nothing in it for him. Subaru's plan is to get the insignia from Felt before Elsa arrives in the evening. Except this guy doesn't learn his lesson. He runs into the same 3 thugs in the same alleyway as before.
Listen, dumber and dumberest, I'm getting sick of seeing your faces.
This time, Subaru calls out for guards in his best maiden-in-trouble voice. But instead of a guard, a red-haired swordsman named Reinhardt von Astrea shows up to break up the fight. The thugs realize they're outmatched and run away. Subaru asks Reinhardt to pass on a message to a beautiful silver-haired girl whose name he doesn't know. Stay away from the loot house.
Tell her not to come near the loot house no matter what. I'll find what she's been looking for and bring it to her myself, no problem at all.
Subaru then promises to repay Reinhardt and continues on to the slums. Subaru then finds Felt at her home, or rather, she finds him.
You're not making any sense. But when it comes down to it, I only care about selling to whoever pays the most.
But Felt isn't about to trade something without knowing its true worth, so they head to the loot house anyway, to have Old Man Ram appraise Subaru's phone. Subaru desperately tries to rush things along. All he wants is to make the trade and get the heck out of there before the black-haired woman with the entrail kink gets there. Then someone knocks at the door.
Don't open it!
Huh?
We'll be killed.
To Subaru's horror, Felt opens the door. But it's not Elsa. It's the silver-haired beauty. In episode 3, Satella arrives at the house. Ram doesn't want any trouble, calling her out for being an elf, or as it turns out, a half-elf. It's a little late to avoid trouble though, because Elsa is there too. In a split-second move, Subaru yells for Puck to protect Satella.
Puck, quick, shield her!
A huge fight breaks out. Elsa battles with her black dagger and cat-like reflexes, while Puck and Satella fight using spirit energy and ice. Meanwhile, Subaru, Ram, and Felt cower in the corner. Great assist, guys! Doing great. The fight stretches out past sundown, and Puck has to leave to recharge his mana. Ram goes after Elsa with this huge bat, but he's wounded.
Damn, we're finished. There's really nothing I can do.
I'll have to use Return by Death and start over.
Subaru might be able to start the day over if he dies, but he really doesn't want to. Instead, he buys Felt some time to escape. Summoned by Felt, Reinhardt shows up at the loot house in the nick of time. He reveals that Elsa is known by the creepy name, the Bowel Hunter.
There's no mistaking those characteristics. You are the Bowel Hunter.
Seriously? What kind of evil nickname is that?
Why? 'Cause she always goes for the guts. So, Reinhardt picks a sword up off the ground and channels all the room's mana into it. The dude doesn't even move. He just swings the sword once and completely decimates the entire house and the sword. But Elsa isn't dead. She bursts out of the house's ruins and lunges at Satella, but Subaru blocks her attack with Rom's massive bat.
Get away!
That boy got in my way again.
That's enough, Elsa!
Whew! Elsa promises to disembowel them all, then scurries away. It's over. Subaru finally made it through a day without dying, and he saved the girl. All he wants is one thing in return.
I want you to tell me what your name is.
Oh, Subaru finally figures out this silver-haired girl's name. Her real name is Amelia.
My name is Amelia. Only Amelia.
It's a good thing Rom's bat blocked that last slice, or Subaru might have to do this all over again. It did block the slash, right?
Uh-oh. I should have seen this coming.
Okay, maybe Elsa's last attack nicked Subaru just a teensy bit. Luckily, Amelia decides to heal Subaru and take him home with her. Felt gives Amelia her royal insignia back. Meanwhile, we learn that Reinhardt is actually a knight for the Royal Guard, but it's his day off. He's willing to overlook Felt and Rom's thievery until he sees what Felt stole.
This can't be possible. What's your name?
Something about the insignia turns Reinhardt really intense. He changes his mind about taking Felt into custody and drags her away. What's gotten into him? In episode 4, Subaru wakes up in bed in a huge, fancy-ass mansion. He spends the day meeting the mansion's other residents. There's the magical librarian Betty. She has the ability to move her room around the mansion and a tendency to end every sentence with, "I suppose."
What a profoundly irritating and aggravating man you are, I suppose.
The first NPC found!
She's also extremely annoyed that Subaru can somehow always find which door is hers. How does he do it? Subaru also meets the twin maids, Rem and Rom.
No way! Short-skirted maid costumes exist in this world too? In my mind, maids were always the very personification of elegance.
Rem is the blue-haired sister, and Rom is the slightly older pink-haired one. Everyone in this fandom has strong opinions on which one is best girl. No, I'm kidding. It's obviously Rem. Rem is always praising her sister, and Rom is honest to a ridiculous degree. She also can't seem to get Subaru's name right in the most adorable way.
Our deepest apologies on the wardrobe, sir. I mean Subaru. I must say, you look utterly ridiculous, sir. I mean Barusu.
Of course, Amelia is there too, and so is the master of the house, Roswaal Mathers. Subaru confuses Roswaal for a clown at first, and it's pretty easy to see why.
Wow, so you guys hired a clown to entertain you before each meal? I'll never understand how you rich folks think.
Subaru?
He is extravagant in his style and has an odd sing-songy voice. As the strange group eats dinner together, Subaru finds out that the kingdom of Lagunica, where he's been isekai'd into, is missing a king. He also finds out that Amelia is a candidate for filling that empty throne.
Candidate for the 42nd ruler of the Kingdom of Lagunica, with the backing of the Honorable Lord Margrave Roswaal.
What?
Actually, the insignia she was so desperate to get back is the token of her candidacy. And since Subaru played such an important role in getting it back, Roswaal offers him a reward. Literally anything he wants. And what he wants is a job.
I'm starting to like this mansion. Hire me to work here!
Really, man? You could've just... Never mind. Over the next 5 days, Subaru dives into his new role as Roswaal's butler. He helps Rem and Ram with the household chores. He's a hard worker, but he's not very good at anything. Actually, he's pretty useless.
I pity the farmer who grew those vegetables.
Stop being so cruel! You're breaking my heart!
By the end of the day, his hands are completely cut up and covered in bandages. Standing outside in the moonlight, Amelia offers to heal Subaru's cuts, but he refuses. Instead, he asks Amelia to accompany him to town the following day. Amelia hesitates, but he's so charming and dumb that she finally agrees.
Wasn't I charming?
You could never be. Well, maybe just a little.
Yes! He's secured a date with the beautiful half-elf. Subaru goes to sleep ecstatic about his date, but when he wakes up, Rem and Ram are acting weird. They don't seem to recognize him. Worse, all the cuts on his hands are gone. At some point last night, Subaru must have died, because suddenly, time has reset. When episode 5 starts, Subaru is devastated. It's like none of the last few days even happened. That means his promise with Amelia is gone too. No date for Subaru. After a bit of wallowing in despair, Subaru decides not to let this get him down. He just needs to redo everything. As long as he does the same things again, he should still end up getting a date with Amelia. Besides, he's just happy to see her alive and well. But things are different this time. He still gets a job at the mansion, but instead of helping the twins with their work, he spends the afternoon in the bath with Roswaal.
Hi there! Mind if I join you?
Yes, I do.
Then Ram starts coming to his room every evening to teach Subaru how to read and write. Subaru also goes shopping in the village with Rem, where we discover that kids love Subaru. Their puppy, not so much. He chomps down on Subaru's hand. Subaru finds out that Rem and Ram clearly have different personalities, but they spend the whole day trying to be like each other. Rem, especially, is very hard on herself for not being as good as her sister.
I can't be that way. It's just not me.
Even though Rem is better at basically everything. One night, Amelia comes to help Subaru with his writing instead of Ram. Subaru's ridiculously hyped about this. He's super awkward, but he does it. He asks Amelia on a date again.
What do you do on a date?
When a guy and a girl go out alone together, it's called a date!
And she says yes. Again! Subaru is afraid to go to sleep that night, so he sits awake in a corner of his room. After a while, it's clear that something is wrong.
Please, someone help me.
His vision goes wobbly, and he starts throwing up. He wanders the mansion hallways weakly, trying to call for help. Then, something sends him flying backwards. He sees his arm hanging in the chandelier above him. Holy hell, what just happened? Subaru once again finds himself doing what he's best at, freaking dying. In episode 6, Subaru wakes up in a panic. He's back on his first day in the mansion again. Instead of asking for a job, Subaru asks Roswaal to let him stay as a guest. He knows that he's going to die on the 4th day, so he decides to find out as much as he can about what's happening before then.
So if I was killed, does that mean the other folks here in the mansion were likely targets as well?
He returns to librarian Betty for help and discovers a bit more about the world. Yeah, she tells him there is a magical curse that can weaken someone enough to kill them in their sleep. It works by draining a person's mana, which is kinda like their life force. Only she and Puck have that much control over mana manipulation, which means, by the way, that it was Betty who saved Subaru's life, not Amelia.
She and Bubby may have stabilized you and brought you here, but I was the one who used magic to heal you.
Huh?
On the 4th day, Subaru says goodbye to everyone and leaves the mansion. He promises Amelia he'll come back when he's stronger. He then thanks Roswaal for his hospitality, Rem for her delicious cooking, and Rom for, being real good at cleaning toilets.
Sister, what a shame. Our guest is hopelessly bad at flattery.
Well, at least he tried. His adventures don't take him very far, though. Subaru goes out into the forest by the mansion. He settles in for the night to wait and watch with a knife he stole from the kitchen. When the attack comes, he's ready for it.
Emergency escape! I saw it! Yes, I saw it! I saw where the sound of chains came from!
He dodges an incoming strike from a spiked ball on a chain and demands the attacker come out to face him. So they do, and it's Rem. Episode 7 starts with Subaru facing off against Rem. She doesn't kill him right away, though. Apparently, Subaru stinks like the notorious Witch of Envy. This makes Rem suspect him of being up to no good. She keeps him alive long enough to ask some questions. Is he a spy? Is he there to sabotage Amelia's claim for the throne? Is he in cahoots with the witch?
Are you affiliated with the witch's cult?
Finally realizing Subaru is as useless as he seems, Rem puts him out of his misery. Subaru wakes up in the mansion on the 1st day again. He's terrified of Rem and of dying again. He tries to tell Amelia about all the times that he's died, but a dark force grips him and he can't get the words out. He does the only other thing he can think of. He asks Betty for help. Betty also says he has the stench of the Witch of Envy on him. Does this guy just need a dang shower or something? But surprisingly, she agrees to protect Subaru.
I, Beatrice, on my honor, am henceforth bound by this contract.
With Betty watching over him, Subaru makes it through his 4th night in the castle. Rem and Rom hold his hands while he sleeps, then Betty brings him to the library to keep him safe. The night passes and he's alive. He did it. He cheated death. But when he finds Amelia outside the room, something is clearly wrong. She leads him to Rom, who's sobbing at the foot of her sister's bed. Rem is dead.
Don't touch Rem! Keep your hands off my little sister!
But why? Rom turns on Subaru. This has to be his fault somehow. Subaru runs away from Rom and into the nearby woods. He considers ending his own life by walking off a cliff, but he can't bring his legs to move. So he just sits there until Betty finds him in the evening. She's still his bodyguard. She doesn't like him, but she made a promise, and Betty takes promises very seriously. So she offers to help him escape. Subaru considers it, but then he remembers how Rem and Rom sat with him all night while he suffered in his sleep.
Come to think of it, back then, somebody was holding both of my hands.
He conveniently forgets the way Rem tortured him and can only think of how sweet it is that she held his hand for a bit. Rom then finds Subaru and Betty, and she's furious. She demands to know what he did to her sister. Subaru then tells Rom how much she and the rest mean to him. He can't just leave them and saves himself.
I care for all of you! Every one of you means the world to me!
Then he runs straight off the cliff and to his death. The Subaru who wakes up in episode 8 is extremely determined and energetic. He gets a job at the mansion again and works hard to win everyone over. That first day, he also learns a bit about magic from Amelia and Puck. Turns out, Amelia can't actually do magic. She's a spirit arts user. So she's able to draw mana from the world around her and channel it through a gate.
You should have one too, Subaru.
Whoa, really?
It turns out Subaru has a magical affinity too. Shadow. Sounds cool, but mostly what he can do is blind people and cast debuffs. It's totally lame. In theory, Subaru could use his power to blind people by unleashing a dark shadow. Puck gives him a crash course in magic, and Subaru accidentally lets out a huge cloud of black smoke like a frightened octopus.
What the? Well, that's not good. Looks like the gate just...
Subaru then overworks himself to the point of throwing up from exhaustion. He's pushing himself so hard that at this rate, he's going to end himself again. This time by accident. Amelia comes to the rescue with her soft lap. Get your mind out of the frickin' gutter. All she does is offer him a place to rest and a sympathetic listening ear.
Enough of that weird tough act. You don't need to do that right now. Didn't you tell me to lend you my lap when you were exhausted?
Subaru releases his pent-up fear and frustrations and cries in her lap before falling asleep. Aww, the poor guy. When Rem finds them later, Amelia gives Subaru the Amelia stamp of approval.
Subaru is a good boy.
Maybe this will be enough to convince Rem not to mercilessly butcher him. The next day, Subaru turns to Betty for help again. He learns more about curses. Sure, a magic user can cast a curse on someone to kill them in their sleep, but Betty can't reverse a curse once it takes effect. She can stop it before it activates though, and the key to casting a curse, physical touch. Subaru has only been touched by the people in the mansion, who he trusts, and the people in the village.
So far, the only people I've touched other than the ones in this mansion are the villagers at the base of the mountain.
That has to be it. He could have been cursed by someone in the village. And the one time he didn't go to the village, Rem got cursed and died instead of him. With this new information, Subaru makes plans to go into the village with Rem and Rom that very day. In episode 9, Subaru makes the most of their visit to the village. And by that, I mean he gets all the adults to touch him. But he wants to be sure he gets the cursed touch. He's a hit with the little kids again, and even gets bit by their puppy again.
You even bit me in almost the same exact spot. Are you a time-traveling canine?
When they get back home, Roswaal leaves on some urgent business. Meanwhile, Subaru asks Betty to remove his curse. As she does, she discovers that the origin of the curse isn't any of the spots where Subaru was touched. It was the dog bite. Wait, this means all the village kids are in danger. As night falls, Subaru rushes back to the village with Rem, leaving Rom to protect Amelia.
Okay, I'm off.
Take care.
They discover that some village kids have gone missing. A barrier protecting the village has been broken, which means evil monsters called maw beasts could get in. These maw beasts are the creations of the evil witch of envy, Pristella. The witch is an evil force in the land, a half-elf with silver hair. No wonder Amelia was so offended at being called that. Long ago, Pristella destroyed the 6 other witches and was sealed away by a dragon and a sage for her evil deeds. Her evil creatures continue to roam the lands though, and it seems one of them has gotten to the village children. Subaru rushes into the forest to save the kids, no matter how unsafe it is. Rem follows, drawing her chain mace out for protection.
Rem, is that a...
It's for protection.
But it seems so...
It's for protection.
They find the kids all lying unconscious in a clearing. They were bitten by the pup. Subaru realizes one girl is missing and runs after her.
Just be careful out there. Don't do anything reckless.
Appreciate the concern, but don't worry about a thing. I'm demonically inspired tonight.
Subaru finds the girl and a monster of a dog. This thing looks nothing like the puppy from earlier. Subaru fights off the dog, but there are so many more.
If you want to fight, then bring it on!
Luckily, Rem comes to his rescue. She's brutal with her mace, and there are too many dog monsters even for her. Just as she seems to be losing, she grows a glowing horn from her forehead and goes berserk. Speaking of which, check out our berserk video while you're here. I mean, after you finish this one. In all her bloodlust, Rem gets attacked from a blind spot. Subaru jumps to her rescue and is mauled in her place. The last thing Subaru sees is Rem begging him not to die. Subaru wakes up in episode 10 in a new bed. Hey, he didn't die this time. He was rescued by Rem and Betty and brought him to a house in the village. The kids are all okay too, thanks to Betty, Puck, and Amelia, who's now fast asleep from exhaustion. But Subaru's not out of the woods yet. Betty takes him aside to break the bad news. He's still cursed. Actually, he's super cursed. Like super mega ultra cursed. Every single bite from the maw beasts last night cursed him, and there's too many for her to untangle.
If the one that's doing the eating were to die, logic dictates the meal would be canceled, I suppose.
The only way to break the spell now is to kill every monster that bit him. But that's impossible. Wait a second, where's Rem? Yeah, Rem's out there in full demon mode, taking down every beast in sight.
Why in the world would Rem go to such dangerous lengths for me?
She feels responsible for Subaru's bites since he got them while defending her. So she's decided to kill every last one of the maw beasts all by herself. Subaru and Ram go after Rem, but they're not as powerful as Rem. See, unlike her twin sister, Ram doesn't have a horn.
If Rem is a demon, wouldn't that make you a demon too?
Every demon is born with 2 horns. When twin demons are born, they each only get 1. Because of this, twins are seen as faulty and are disposed of. Somehow, Rem and Ram were allowed to live, but Ram's horn was chopped off when she was very young, robbing her of her demon powers. Still, Ram is technically Rem's older sister, and she'll do everything she can to protect her, with or without a horn. It would take them too long to find Rem in the forest, so Subaru decides to call Rem to them instead. Last time he tried to talk about his power, it made him stink of the witch. Rem could only smell that stench and follow it to him, so Subaru starts to tell Ram about his return by death power. The darkness overcomes his heart again, and he's unable to continue.
What did you do, Barusu? The wind is erratic, and I smell beasts approaching.
It works. Maybe a little too well. Every monster nearby is suddenly very interested in Subaru. He makes the perfect bait. In fact, maybe he's a little too perfect. With the entire forest focused on them, Ram quickly uses up all her power. Subaru grabs her and runs, but they're quickly cornered by the maw beasts.
The timing of all this couldn't possibly be any worse.
Things look bad, until Rem appears and saves them by destroying all the beasts within seconds. Subaru is relieved.
We're finally saved!
And immediately terrified again when Rem attacks Subaru and Ram. Rem is completely taken over by the demon part of her. The only way to bring her back is to land a blow on her horn. But how can Subaru get close enough? Simple. He lifts Ram and throws her at her sister. With Ram acting as a distraction, Subaru launches himself at Rem, aiming for her horn. Episode 11 starts with a flashback to Rem and Ram's birth. As babies, the two were supposed to be destroyed, but they were spared when the other demons realized how powerful Ram was, even with just 1 horn. Rem lived in Ram's shadow as a child. She could never be as strong as her older sister, so she decided to become good at everything else, like cooking and cleaning.
I can't match her in anything. In that case, I don't have to do anything anymore.
I can just be myself and walk behind her.
One night, the twins' demon village was attacked by an evil witch's cult. Ram fought to protect her sister, but in the end, Ram's horn was cut off.
Because of me, my sister's horn was broken.
Ever since then, Rem has lived her life with guilt, feeling like Ram's inferior replacement. Back in the present, Subaru is running away from the Maw Beasts with Rem and Ram. His attack in the last episode worked. He hit Rem's horn hard enough to snap Rem back to her senses. She's back to normal again, but she's weak from the hit to the horn and from all the fighting. Subaru tells the girls to get to the village while he distracts the beasts.
He's risking his life to buy us some time, so let's make the most of it.
He then casts his little black shadow cloud. It's not very effective on the beasts, but it does get the attention of Roswaal, who's returned from his meeting just in time. Roswaal gets rid of the Maw Beasts, lifting Subaru's curses once and for all. Oof. Back at Roswaal's mansion, Subaru wakes up to Rem sitting by his bed, holding his hand. Guys, I think she's done trying to kill him. She seems completely disarmed by this dude's selfless actions. He tells her that she doesn't have to put herself down or put her sister on a pedestal. If she spends so long thinking about what she and Ram don't have, she'll forget to be thankful for what they do have.
Listen carefully. All you have to do is be the horn Ram doesn't have. If you do that, you two can be a demon together.
That's deep. At night, Roswaal and Ram discuss the day's events. They have, sort of a weird relationship. Roswaal restores Ram's mana, and Ram says her body belongs to Roswaal. Okay. But he's distracted. Those Maw Beasts were being controlled by someone. Roswaal can't let anything get between him and his true goal, to kill the legendary dragon of Lagunica.
For the coming day when I kill the dragon.
Meanwhile, Amelia and Subaru are out in the garden. Subaru seems to always be getting hurt trying to save people, and Amelia wants to thank him somehow. And Subaru knows exactly how she can thank him.
All right then. I'll go on a date with you. It sounds like fun.
Hell yeah. And just like that, Subaru's date with Amelia is back on. Let's just hope that he survives long enough this time. In episode 12, we skip right over Subaru and Amelia's date and go back to business. An emissary from the capital arrives at the mansion to talk to Amelia about important royal family business. Subaru briefly meets this messenger, a cat-eared character named Felix Argyle, who happens to be a powerful water and healing magic user.
That cutesy face with cat ears was one of the capital's most brilliant users of water magic as well as healing magic.
Amelia is then summoned to the capital, where Subaru first appeared in this world, and Subaru gets to tag along. At the capital, Amelia meets with Julius Duel, a purple-haired guy who Subaru immediately dislikes.
That bastard taking your cute little hand and licking all over it like a dog.
I'll try to come back before things run too long. Be good.
How dare he be flirty with his Amelia? Amelia and Julius go to the castle, and she tells Subaru not to move. Naturally, he wanders away as soon as she's out of sight, and, of course, ends up back in the same alleyway with those same three thugs again.
No way. Are the three of you the only hoodlums in the capital?
The thugs are picking on a woman in a red dress, and she has the most self-centered attitude known to man. She truly believes that this world revolves around her. The thugs run away when Amelia shows up with a man wearing a knight helmet and a cape, with his burly chest out for all the world to see. Amelia was looking for Subaru, and the man was looking for the woman in red.
How very attentive of you to wait where you knew I would be. I commend you for your dedication, Al.
You mean you were the lost child?
Well, since it looks like both lost children have been found, time to go home. Amelia returns to the castle the next day and makes Subaru promise to stay home. But this guy is really bad at following simple instructions. He follows her to the capital and hitches a ride to the castle with none other than the woman in red and her weirdly dressed knight. She is Pristella Bariel, and she's one of the heirs to the throne. Everyone's gathered at the castle. Amelia is there, of course, but so are Roswaal, Julius, Reinhardt, and the cat boy Felix. Yes, cat boy.
You're kidding! What's the point in looking like that and even having cat ears if you're a guy?
I don't know what to tell you. You're the one who made the wrong assumption, silly Subaru.
4 candidates line up before a group of wise men, waiting to hear why they were brought here. See, the kingdom of Lugunica is known as the Dragon Kingdom. Long ago, the royal family made a pact with the local dragon to protect them, but the king is missing, and the royal family was taken out by a blight. Without a king, the dragon has no obligation to watch over the land. A council of wise men is currently keeping watch over the kingdom and ensuring that a prophecy is carried out. One of the 5 priestesses is supposed to enter a covenant with the dragon. Wait, there are only 4 candidates right now. Well, it turns out that Reinhardt just found the 5th princess, and her name is Felt.
Is Miss Felt?
Huh? Wait, that's the thief girl from before. In episode 13, Felt reveals to us all that she hasn't changed a single bit by walking right up to Reinhardt and kicking him.
You bastard! Why the hell did you drag me to whatever this is with no explanation?
Ow! Still, Reinhardt insists Felt is a true heir to the throne. After all, when he hands her an insignia, it glows, showing that she's been chosen. With all 5 heirs assembled, it's time to make the introductions. Felt is backed by the knight Reinhardt, but she wants nothing to do with the stupid country.
I hate every last thing about this damn place! So, I'm planning to tear it all down to the ground!
If she's chosen for the throne, she vows to straight up destroy the whole kingdom. We already know Amelia and her sponsor, Roswaal. Her wish is to bring equality to the kingdom. We also know Pristella and her helmeted attendant, whose name is Al. Pristella thinks the whole selection process is pointless because she's clearly the obvious choice.
I'm the only one who's suited to rule this nation. All you people need to do is just grovel before my feet and serve me.
And the serious woman with long green hair is Crucier Karsten. And she's backed by the catboy healer, Felix. She wants to reclaim the power from the dragon and give it back to the people of the nation. The final candidate is the purple-haired Anastasia Hoshian, and her attendant, the knight Julius. Anastasia wants the kingdom purely because she's greedy, and she's pretty upfront about that fact.
I'm a greedy little gal, so I want everything. No amount of commercial success can satisfy me.
The men of the council badmouth Amelia for her resemblance to the Witch of Envy. They call her a disgrace who wouldn't even be allowed in the castle.
Why do you not realize that even allowing her in the throne room is dreadful?
Subaru can't take it anymore. He stands up for Amelia. Not that she needs it, she's endured this kind of prejudice her whole life, and she can stand up for herself just fine. But Subaru is too hyped up. He calls himself Amelia's knight, right in front of a whole room of knights. This dude just blatantly white knighted in front of literally hundreds of white knights.
Amelia will be the ruler of this land. I'm going to make her wish come true!
Julius, an actual knight, is pretty offended at Subaru's bold claim. Normally, he'd just kill anyone so foolish, but since Subaru is connected to Amelia, he decides to teach him a lesson with a mock duel using wooden swords. As you can imagine, a fight between a knight and a former shut-in is pretty one-sided. Subaru is beaten up pretty badly by Julius. At least he doesn't die, but that means he has to face Amelia, who's rightfully mad at him.
I just wanted to try and do something important for you.
Is that right? For me?
Subaru claims everything he does is for Amelia, but is it really? He keeps doing things that she doesn't want or need him to do. He promised to stay in the mansion, then immediately broke that promise. Everything about the way he's acting seems pretty self-serving.
Why do you keep trying to help me like this?
Because of the many times that you helped me.
He's not some protector to Amelia, and he owes her no more debts. Amelia frees him from any further obligations and leaves Subaru alone and devastated. Abandoned by Amelia, episode 14 has Subaru and Rem away from Amelia and Roswaal. They're staying with the serious croupier Karsten and her attendant Felix. Subaru spends all his days practicing his sword skills with their old manservant Wilhelm. One afternoon, Rem fetches Subaru for a meeting with the Karsten residents.
We need to talk about something.
She can feel something sinister happening with Rom, and everyone is worried. People's prejudice against Amelia is pretty intense, and it's possible that she's in danger. So, Subaru leaps at the chance to save Amelia again. He truly believes he's the only one who can protect her, even though he hasn't done much other than get hurt and cause trouble.
Only one person can take her side, and that would be me.
Croupier warns Subaru that if he leaves her care, he will become her enemy. She was contracted by Amelia to take care of Subaru while he heals from the duel. Once he walks out of her mansion, all bets are off. But Subaru doesn't care. All he can think of is getting to Amelia. Subaru and Rem then start the long journey back to Roswaal's mansion. They stop to rest for the night, and when Subaru wakes up, Rem is gone.
You think I'm a useless good-for-nothing too, Rem?
Oh man.
She left in the middle of the night, wanting to protect Subaru from whatever's waiting for them at the mansion. I mean, let's face it, any trouble is probably too dangerous for him. He's only been learning how to use a sword for a few days, and his magic is a black puff of smoke. So, Subaru makes his way to the village by Roswaal's mansion, only to realize that something terrible has happened here. All the villagers are getting killed or burned to death.
Where's Rem? Where is she? What is this? What happened?
Horrified, Subaru walks all night to the mansion. When he gets there, he's gripped by horror. Rem's mace weapon lies discarded on the ground in a pool of blood. Sweet, powerful Rem would have never dropped her mace like that. Sure enough, further down, Subaru sees something truly shocking. Rem has been bludgeoned and stabbed to death. Who could do such a thing? In episode 15, a shocked Subaru wanders through the grounds of Roswaal's mansion. He finds the lifeless Rom and the bodies of the innocent village children. They've all been murdered in horrific ways. He makes his way inside the castle and finds a strange, icy room. He touches a door so cold that his fingers literally snap off. Suddenly, strange black hooded men appear around him. A voice tells Subaru he's too late, before the icy cold cracks Subaru into pieces.
You're too late, Subaru.
Ugh, that was intense. Subaru wakes up in front of the grumpy grocer at the capital. That's a familiar sight. But Rem's there too, so this is after his fight with Amelia. Rem and a completely broken and traumatized Subaru then go back to the Karsten mansion. Even the talented healer Felix can't fix Subaru. So, Rem decides to take Subaru back to Roswaal's mansion. As they get closer to home, the dragon leading their carriage very suddenly and violently loses its head. Yikes! Moments later, they're attacked by hooded men. The same hooded men that Subaru saw before his last death. and the same hooded men who burned down Rem's home when she was little. Rem recognizes them and flies into a rage, launching a furious attack. One of them snatches up Subaru and runs away. Subaru wakes up chained to the wall of a cave. He's surrounded by the black-hooded cultists and their leader, the unsettling Beetlejuice Romane Conti.
Representing Sloth, Betelgeuse Romani Conti. Yes!
This guy looks like his mom cuts his bangs, and he drinks about 20 cups of coffee to get going every morning. He introduces himself as the Sin Archbishop's witch cult, representing Sloth. But that's a pretty long title, so we can just call him Beetlejuice.
We must repay love with love!
Beetlejuice is obsessed with love and slothfulness. Subaru has a pretty girl fighting for him. She must love him so much. He finds this delightful, but Subaru is still broken, so he's just sitting here doing nothing to help himself or his beloved Rem. That's so slothful. Before Beetlejuice can do anything to Subaru, Rem finds the cultist's hideout.
What was that?
I said, don't you touch him!
She attacks Beetlejuice, but she's no match for his unseen hand attack. Beetlejuice strings her up in midair with invisible hands and squeezes the life out of her. This snaps Subaru out of his traumatized haze.
Kill you! I'll kill you! I'll kill you!
Subaru's murderous cries don't scare Beetlejuice. He and his cronies leave, and Subaru is left along with Rem. Somehow, the broken and bloodied Rem hangs on long enough to crawl to Subaru, free him from his chains, and tell him she loves him.
I love you.
Dang, she's come a long way from trying to kill him. Subaru leaves the cave and carries Rem's body home. He walks through a decimated village and to the mansion, where it's somehow snowing. A huge, shadowy creature looms over the mansion, lamenting the death of its daughter.
Sleep. Along with my daughter.
What is this thing? It kinda sounds like Puck? Is that you? Whoever it is, this massive shadow beast seems to be the reason why it's snowing. It seems that Subaru is too late once again. The cold becomes so intense that Subaru freezes his head off. Literally. He freezes to death and his head slides right off. Subaru wakes back up in the capital with Rem again, but this time, Subaru isn't lost in his own despair. This time, he's determined to do something to stop the disaster only he knows is coming. Episode 16 begins at the Karsten mansion, with Subaru begging Crucier for help fighting the cultists.
If you incur a debt to me through this deal, it will mean the elimination of Amelia's camp from the race. Are you certain that's what you want?
But Crucier has no reason to believe him, and even less reason to help him. Amelia and Crucier are rivals, so Amelia's death would give Crucier an advantage in the competition for the throne.
I hope that you become a great ruler, the kind of dictator who abandons the weak.
Talk about petty. Next, Subaru goes to Pristella for help, and she's even less willing to help. She makes sure to humiliate Subaru a little before turning him down.
Lick it. If you can do that, then I will consider your proposal.
Pristella is way above helping greedy little pigs like Subaru. Kicked out of Pristilla's mansion, Subaru wanders the streets of the capital until he bumps into the small, purple-haired Anastasia Holshin, the final candidate for the throne. Anastasia is willing to give him the name of a merchant who will take him back to the mansion.
But why would you even bother? It's not as if you gain anything from it.
But in return, she wants information. Nothing in this world is free. Subaru accidentally lets it slip that Crucier has been holding a lot of meetings recently. This is valuable intel for Anastasia, who deals in information. He didn't mean to actually tell Anastasia anything. Clearly, he's not very good at negotiations.
The key to being a good negotiator is to do your homework and come to the table totally prepared. Make sure you know what the other person wants and dangle it in front of them.
Subaru meets back up with Rem, who also had no luck getting support from the Capitol Guards. They're just gonna have to get Amelia and the rest out of the mansion on their own. Subaru then finds the merchant Anastasia mentioned, a man in a green cape named Otto Suen. They enlist Otto and his fellow merchants to help get them to the mansion on a rescue mission.
There's a small village not too far from the Mather's mansion. I want you to take its residents somewhere else.
The group embarks on their trip. On the way, they encounter a massive landmark called Flugel's Tree. As they near it, a thick, white fog envelops them, and out of the fog, a huge eyeball peers at Subaru. Uh-oh. Episode 17 reveals the danger within the fog. The terrible, flying beast called the White Whale. Rem jumps into the fog to fight the whale, and Otto drives the cart away from danger.
Don't worry about me. I believe I was born for this very moment.
Subaru demands that they go back for Rem, but there's just one problem. Otto has no idea who Rem is.
You've got to be kidding! Think about how Rem must have felt! She jumped without—
Wait a second, who is Rem?
That's pretty weird. Maybe Otto's just really forgetful. Subaru realizes something is seriously wrong when he finally makes it back to the mansion. Rom is there, but she also doesn't remember Rem.
Who is this Rem?
Okay, now that's just plain impossible. Subaru then sees Amelia for the first time since she walked out of his life. He does a great impression of a crazy stalker and demands that she leave the mansion, but he refuses to explain why.
Just do as I say and everything will be alright! Then we can put this whole mess behind us, you'll see?
Subaru decides that enough is enough. He has to tell Amelia about his powers, even if the pain from doing so kills him. He blurts out his return by death power, and he's completely fine. But instead of hurting him, the darkness hurts Amelia. Subaru watches in horror as the darkness consumes Amelia. Betty shows up to clean up the mess. She seems to not care that Amelia is dead and leaking black goop.
Kill me right here.
You would actually ask for me to kill you?
She teleports Subaru and Amelia away from the mansion so they can become someone else's problem. Outside, Subaru cradles the dead Amelia in his arms.
Please kill me!
Beetlejuice and the cultists show up and surround them. Beetlejuice reaches for Amelia with his unseen hand power, and at that moment, Puck appears, demanding to know what Beetlejuice is doing with his daughter.
Just what are you doing to my daughter?
Wait, Amelia is Puck's daughter? In episode 18, Puck transforms into the shadow beast that Subaru saw standing over the mansion before his last death.
Puck, is that really you?
Can't you tell?
The monstrous Puck kills the cultists and Beetlejuice. Then, he turns to Subaru. Subaru committed 3 sins. He broke a promise to Amelia. He came back when she told him not to, and he let her die. Now that Amelia is dead, Puck has nothing holding him back.
Amelia is my entire reason for existing. There is no point in living in a world without her.
He's going to destroy the world. Puck freezes Subaru to death. Once again, Subaru finds himself back in the capital with Rem. He's tried everything he can to fix things, but every time he tries to interfere, he just seems to make things worse. And Subaru hates himself for it.
I hate myself!
He thought in this new world he could become something more than the lonely shut-in he was in the real world. But he's done trying. He's ready to just give up and walk away, and he wants Rem to go with him.
Please choose me! Because if you do, I'll give you all that I have for the rest of my life.
Rem would love to live out a sweet little quiet life with Subaru away from here. She even has a whole fantasy life laid out for them.
And why, Rem? If you want it that badly, then why can't...
Because you're not smiling. If you really wanted that future.
Oh, that's either cute or creepy. I'm not quite sure which. But she can't run away with him. If they leave now, Subaru will never be happy. The Subaru she knows doesn't give up. The Subaru she knows is a hero.
Why do you like me so much?
Because you're my hero, Subaru.
Subaru tells Rem that he loves Amelia, not her. But if that's what'll make him happy, then Rem is still willing to help him and stay by his side.
No matter how you feel about yourself, I still love you.
See? I told you Rem is best girl! Filled with a new resolve thanks to Rem, Subaru is determined to become the hero that she sees in him. Oh, you thought this anime started 18 episodes ago? Nah, that was all exposition, baby. The real journey to start a new life in a fantasy world starts right here. In episode 19, Subaru knows he still can't take on the white whale or the cultists on his own. But this time, he does things differently. Anastasia taught him to use what people want in negotiation, so that's exactly what he does. Right before the fight with the white whale, Subaru has his phone out. This means he knows exactly when the elusive beast will appear, and this is extremely valuable information.
It tells me exactly when and where that monster will appear.
Subaru gathers Crucier and Anastasia at the Karsten mansion and suggests that they form an alliance. You see, Crucier and her people have been out trying to hunt down and kill the white whale for over 400 years, but the whale shows up so randomly that they're never ready for it. Subaru can tell them exactly when the whale will show up next. In return, they can give him the manpower to defeat it. Crucier and Anastasia agree to Subaru's terms, even praising him for his negotiation skills.
My review and preparation paid off, that's all. To be honest, I couldn't be more relieved.
This is already going a lot better than last time. Fighters are gathered and preparations are made. Crucier prepares to fight, as does her old manservant Wilhelm. Turns out, this dude is Wilhelm von Astrea, the red-headed Reinhardt's grandfather. He has a personal grudge to settle with the white whale. It killed his wife, the last master swordsman.
Thank you for so very kindly granting this old man the opportunity to slay the loathsome mobbies that took my wife.
Sure, of course, I knew that, no big deal.
Subaru also gains the help of the captain of Anastasia's mercenary fighting group, the wolf-like Ricardo. Subaru picks out his own ground dragon for him and Rem, which are used kinda like horses in this world. And finally, an entire army sets off for Flugel's tree.
Let's do everything we can and work together to beat the hell out of that damn whale. I promise to give it everything I've got.
They reach the tree at night and wait in silence. At first, nothing happens. But then, Subaru's phone alarm goes off and the white whale flies in from the sky. In episode 20, Subaru and his companions fight the white whale. Subaru and Rem ride out on their dragon while the others attack using swords and missiles. It's an all-out assault. Even with everyone working together, the massive whale is unharmed. Wilhelm then just charges in with his trusty sword and pokes the whale's eye out.
You're nothing but a monster!
This just makes the whale angry. It lets out a loud cry, and the entire battlefield is covered with a thick fog, forcing the fighters to retreat. This isn't just a regular sound or fog. Those who go into the fog are erased from people's memories, and those who don't are driven mad and start attacking themselves.
Miss Crochet, listen up! I'm gonna buy some time! Have everyone regroup and be ready, okay?
What?
Subaru decides to use himself as bait again. He rides out into the fog with Rem. To draw the whale out, Subaru tries to yell out that he can return by death. This covers him in the scent of the Witch of Envy, an irresistible perfume for maw beasts like the white whale.
Am I drenched in the scent of the witch?
Yes, for sure. You reek.
Good, but did you have to say it that way?
Subaru's stinky witch smell attracts the whale. The soldiers snap out of their trances and the fight continues. But there's one teensy tiny little problem. There are 3 whales now. This was not part of the plan. In episode 21, Subaru realizes that there aren't 3 separate whales, there's still only one white whale split into 3. 2 of them are hanging out low to the ground while the third stays out of the way high into the sky. That one must be the real deal since it's letting the others do all the dirty work. All they need to do is get the highest whale to come down, and Subaru has a plan.
I think you're completely insane.
We're already insane for taking on that huge thing in the first place. What's a little more crazy gonna hurt?
Rem hits Subaru with a surge of magic, which sends him hurtling toward the whale, and Subaru lands on the whale.
Okay, let's get this started!
Nice job, Rem! Then, he jumps off and tries to tell the world about his return by death powers. The whale follows Subaru down like a cat running after catnip. Rem snatches Subaru before he hits the ground. The two lure the beast to Flugel's tree, which is chopped down by Crucier's forces.
Don't let me down, Patricia! You are a dragon, aren't you? It's time to show me how awesome you are!
The massive tree comes crushing down on top of the whale, and with the beast momentarily stunned, Wilhelm von Astrea lands the killing blow on behalf of his wife.
Now sleep for all eternity.
The fog clears, revealing a beautiful, clear day. They've done it! They defeated the white whale. Now, Subaru can continue to his actual goal, getting to the mansion in time to stop the witch's cult. Half of the remaining fighters, Felix, Ricardo, and the newly arrived Julius, agree to come with Subaru. Rem, spent from all the fighting, stays with Crucier and the rest.
It's gonna be okay, Rem. I'll find a way to take care of everything so you don't have to worry. I'm your hero, and that's what heroes do.
And with that, Subaru and his army head out to battle the witch's cult. In episode 22, Subaru uses his prior knowledge about the witch's cult attack to get one step ahead of his enemy. While the rest of them are fighting, Anastasia sends some merchants ahead to evacuate the village by the mansion. Meanwhile, Subaru doesn't wait to be captured. This time, he strolls right into Beetlejuice's lair in the middle of the forest. The Sin Archbishop representing Sloth is just as weird as before. He babbles on and on about love and trembling brains.
They feel it! The love, the love, the love, the love, the love!
But he doesn't get to talk for long, though. Wilhelm rushes in and cuts Beetlejuice in half. That's it? It's over? It can't be that easy, can it? Subaru then picks up a strange book that Beetlejuice was holding. He called it the Witch's Gospel. Everything the Archbishop did was according to this gospel. It's a dangerous book, and having one is proof that you're a member of the Witch's cult.
You mean this is the gospel? Oh no, I touched it!
Beetlejuice had 10 special followers called Fingers. Thanks to the other, only 7 fingers are left. As they're celebrating their small win, the power of the unseen hand attacks Subaru. This is a power only Beetlejuice can use, so it looks like our green-haired friend isn't dead after all.
My brain, it trembles!
I knew it couldn't be that easy. But instead of Beetlejuice, the unseen hand is being controlled by a creepy freckled woman with an unhinged smile. Wilhelm kills her too. The encounter is worrying though. How many of these guys are there? Subaru and his companions then leave the forest and ride toward the village and the mansion. Before they can get there, a hooded Rom greets Subaru, and she does not look happy to see him. In episode 23, the angry Rom attacks Subaru and his companions, but is stopped by Wilhelm. With Subaru gone and the witch's cult en route, Rom thought that Subaru had betrayed them all.
You dare to bite the hand that feeds you, mangy mutt.
It doesn't take too long to talk her around to their side, and everyone sets off to the village together. When they arrive at the village, Anastasia and her merchants are already there. The villagers aren't happy about this whole situation. They all hate Amelia. They believe she's the reason why their village was targeted by the witch's cult in the first place.
You're kidding me. You guys seriously believe that? All of this is the fault of the half-elf in the mansion?
As the villagers get ready to evacuate, Felix finds a spy in their midst. A cultist has snuck in with the merchants. He declares that this is the beginning of the end and explodes.
It's the beginning of the end!
The cultists then show up and attack the village. Wilhelm kills another finger and is wounded in the process. They don't get a moment of rest before another finger appears. Subaru takes this one on himself.
We can handle things here. You just keep up with your end of the plan. And be sure to take care of Wilhelm.
Not too specific with your orders, are you?
He taunts her with the gospel, then lures her into the forest. On the way out, he grabs one of the protection crystals. Then, he watches the finger get mauled by the forest's mob beasts. Subaru returns to the village to find another finger. How many of these things are there? No worries. Amelia and Puck arrive and finish him off with their powers.
Now accept defeat.
Subaru is stunned. He technically hasn't seen her since their argument, and now he can't say anything. Subaru starts to tremble and runs away in a panic. Okay, that's a pretty extreme reaction. But he's not just nervous to see Amelia. Something else is wrong here. Julius and Felix follow Subaru into the forest and discover why he ran away. He's possessed by the spirit of Beetlejuice.
Kill me, Julius! Use your sword and kill me!
No, don't ask me to do such a thing.
There's only one way out of this. Subaru begs Julius and Felix to kill him. In episode 24, Subaru's time rewinds to right after the White Whale's defeat. He tells everyone that he now knows about the witch's cult. The fingers are just vessels for the Sin Archbishop of Sloth. Killing Beetlejuice isn't enough. They'll have to defeat all the fingers and somehow stop his soul from transferring to anyone else. Subaru starts this do-over by getting the villagers to safety first. He sends Wilhelm ahead of the party to Amelia.
We would like to evacuate those remaining here in the mansion, as well as the nearby villagers. That is Miss Cruchet's will.
Together, they get the villagers to agree to leave. Half will evacuate with Amelia and Wilhelm, the other half will be taken to someplace called the Sanctuary with Rom and Roswaal, and Betty chooses to stay in the mansion. Subaru then takes out the spy among the merchants before he can leak any information to the other cultists. Then, it's off to face Beetlejuice again.
If you could find it within you to add my body and soul to the ranks of your fingers carrying out the ordeal, there would be no greater honor.
Subaru's companions try a surprise attack on Beetlejuice. He tries to run, but this time, Subaru can see his unseen hands as black and shadowy, giving him a huge advantage.
It's impossible! None of this is in the guide to my divine destiny and the gospel!
They lead Beetlejuice to Julius, who is a skilled spirit arts user. One of his powers involves using spirits to see the world from the point of view of other people and creatures. So, Subaru and Julius work together. Julius fights Beetlejuice, and Subaru helps him see the unseen hand's attacks.
Sharing a collective body with you is a pretty disgusting experience. Let's get this over with already!
Yes.
It's some great teamwork, even if Subaru still hates Julius. In episode 25, Julius defeats Beetlejuice. The spirit of Sloth leaps from Beetlejuice into Subaru.
My brain. It trembles!
Oh no, is what I would be saying if this weren't all going according to Subaru's plan. With Beetlejuice's soul trapped inside his body, Subaru calls on the power of the Witch of Envy by trying to reveal Return by Death. Beetlejuice is declared unworthy by the witch. She destroys him, freeing Subaru.
You're not the one.
Subaru then grabs the gospel and runs back to the village. But Subaru can't celebrate yet. Explosive crystals have been planted in the carriage that's carrying Amelia and the village children. She's too far away to follow now. But the green-cloaked merchant Otto leaps in to help. He has the power to speak with animals, so he knows all the alternative routes through the land. He can catch up to Amelia easy.
What are you talking about? None of this will be easy at all!
Well, kind of easy. Subaru and Otto race after Amelia in Otto's cart. As they do, a deformed creature starts to chase them. It's an abomination made of Beetlejuice's remains and a mass of unseen hands. Subaru is so done with this guy. He writes "the end" in Beetlejuice's gospel and shows it to him. This enrages the creature, which trips him up and sends him tumbling under the carriage. Subaru defeats Beetlejuice for a third and final time.
Where's Amelia?
She's that way! Go straight toward the great tree!
Otto and Subaru catch up to Amelia's carriage. Subaru leaps inside and removes the explosives from under the boards. He then tells Amelia he loves her and runs away.
Why, Subaru?
'Cause I love you, Amelia.
He rides away on his dragon toward the downed Flugel's tree. Then, he chucks the bomb into the white whale's carcass, causing a massive explosion and blacks out. When Subaru wakes up, he is in his favorite place in the whole world, Amelia's lap. Everyone, including his dragon, survived the explosion. It's the happy ending that Subaru has been chasing.
I mean it. I'm crazy about you. I want to be with you all the time. I want to hold your hand all the time.
Subaru tells Amelia again that he loves her. Episode 26 begins the second season of ReZero. We start right where the first season left off, with Amelia and Subaru riding off into a brand new day together. But the illusion of a happy ending is quickly broken. Subaru decides to interrupt a perfectly normal conversation with a confession. He tells Amelia that Rem confessed her love for him, and whatever reaction Subaru expected, he doesn't get it. Amelia responds with pure confusion.
I'm confused. Who is Rem?
She has no idea who Rem is. Meanwhile, Rem and Crucier are on their way back to the Karsten mansion when they're attacked.
Now tell me, just who are you anyway?
Ah, I see. Things are becoming much clearer. You have no idea who I am.
They're intercepted by Regulus Corneus, the arrogant, white-haired Sin Archbishop of the Witches' Cult representing greed, and along with him is Lai Batenkaitos, a toothy little boy with a round head representing the Witch of Gluttony.
We came out here because we heard our pet had been slain, and just look at this bounty!
Rem and Crucier fight their two opponents, but they're defeated, and Rem's very existence is eaten up by Gluttony. Yikes! By the time Subaru and Amelia catch up to Crucier's party, they're too late. Both Crucier and Rem are knocked out and can't be woken.
If I return by death now, that means I'll probably have to go up against Betelgeuse again.
Subaru tries to rewind time to save them by offing himself, but he just goes back to Amelia asking who Rem is. His power can't save his beloved Rem this time. Forced to let this play out, Subaru travels with the others back to the Karsten mansion. Rem lies in bed stuck in a deep sleep and completely deleted from everyone else's memories.
If both your name and memories are taken using this power, there won't be anything left of you but an empty shell.
Crucier is doing just a little better than Rem. She's awake, but she's lost all her memories. This is the power of Gluttony. He can devour a person's memories or other people's memories of them just by knowing their name.
So then Crucier's memories were eaten, and Rem lost both her name and all of her memories.
Even though Crucier doesn't remember Subaru or their fight against the white whale together, she's determined to keep fighting. There's no longer a reason to stay at the Karsten mansion. So, in episode 27, Subaru leaves for Roswaal's estate. He brings Amelia, Otto, and of course Rem with him. At the mansion, they're greeted by a new face, Frederica Baumann.
Now that you mention it, I was told there was another maid who quit just before I came here.
Yes, I merely took a temporary leave of absence for some personal reasons.
Frederica is a large but polite half-beast girl and another one of Roswaal's maids. She also has a new maid helping her around the house, a young girl from the village named Petra. Subaru doesn't stick around with the maids for too long. He needs to get some answers, and fast. And there's only one person he can think of who might be able to help him. Betty.
Oh, it's you. No wonder the mansion suddenly seems so noisy.
Subaru asks Betty about Roswaal and the sanctuary where he took half the villagers. But Betty doesn't really feel like helping this stinky human who keeps bursting into her private space like this. She tells him to ask Frederica for help, and kicks him out, literally.
The answers you seek lie in the sanctuary. You'll find what you want to know, I suppose.
Seriously?
Sure, Frederica can help them, but she won't go with them. Someone needs to watch the house after all. But she can tell them how to get to the sanctuary. All they have to do is go beyond the Lost Woods and through the barrier. Oh, and watch out for someone named Garfield on the way. Subaru entrusts Rem's care to Frederica and Petra. They, in turn, give him some parting gifts. A blue gem from Frederica and a white handkerchief from Petra.
It's thought to be a sort of prayer for safe travels while he's away.
Oh, it's one of those things, huh?
Subaru, Amelia, and Otto travel to the Lost Woods, as instructed by Frederica. Subaru is worried about Rem the entire time, while Amelia has her own concerns. Her guardian spirit cat and apparent father, I guess, Puck, has stopped showing up. He's completely dedicated to her.
Don't worry, I have contracts with lesser spirits too, and I can also fight with them if the need arises.
As they get closer to the barrier, Frederica's blue gem starts to glow. Subaru snatches it and suddenly finds himself alone in the woods. He wanders out to a gorgeous, hilly landscape straight out of the Windows 95 computer background. A table with a sun umbrella stands on the hill. Sitting at it is a beautiful woman with long white hair.
My name is Echidna, but that isn't my title. Perhaps you would know me a bit better as the Witch of Greed.
She introduces herself as Echidna, and she is the Witch of Greed. In episode 28, the Witch of Greed welcomes Subaru to her tea party. There are tons of fairy tales warning people not to eat or drink anything from magical beings, but Subaru must not have read a single one of them, because he immediately downs a full cup of tea.
What kind of tea is this anyway? Because it's a little bland.
Which is revealed to actually be Echidna's bodily fluids. Ugh. Echidna tells Subaru that they're in a witch's graveyard. Her body is out there somewhere in the sanctuary, while her soul is imprisoned in this space between worlds. As the Witch of Greed, she absolutely loves knowledge. She knows a lot and is sure Subaru must have some questions for her.
So then, What would you like to ask me?
But Subaru only has one. Where is the sanctuary? Echidna informs him that it's just outside some ruins. Oh, cool. Thanks. That's all Subaru needed. He turns to leave the stunned witch.
Isn't there anything else you want to ask me? 'Cause now's your chance.
Sorry, but I'd rather meet up with Amelia outside than spend another second here talking to you.
That's it? He can ask for anything, and that's all he wants to know? Well then. In that case, Echidna gives Subaru a parting gift. She grants him the right to face the trials.
I've decided to grant you the right to face the trial of the sanctuary.
Subaru has no idea what this means, and he's in a rush to get back to Amelia. Echidna transports him back into Otto's carriage and right into the path of Garfield. Garfield turns out to be Frederica's younger brother, a really angry little beast dude with an X-shaped scar on his forehead. He greets the group with his fists, but Subaru calms him down by mentioning Frederica, and together they enter the sanctuary.
So the sanctuary is a place where demi-humans with mixed blood live?
That's right, nice guess.
The sanctuary is a broken-down old village. It's home to a bunch of half-human, half-magical creatures. It's also more like a trap than a sanctuary, because none of these demi-humans can ever leave. The only way out is by completing a series of trials. Completing them will take down the barrier that surrounds the town. Roswaal, Rom, and the villagers are all there, but they're also being held captive.
The barrier triggers certain effects on those whose blood meets specific conditions.
Garfield refuses to let them go until someone completes the trial and sets them all free. Roswaal tried to do the trial, but judging by all the bandages he's covered in, it didn't go well. What's more, only half-humans can take the trial. It's a weird rule, but it means that their fate might just rest in Amelia's hands.
In the place of your domain, Lord Roswaal L. Mathers, I will take on this challenge. And I'd like your support!
Amelia accepts the challenge. She asks the villagers to have faith in her and walks into the ruins. Worried, Subaru runs in after her. Thanks to Echidna, he's also accepted by the ruins to do the trial, even though he isn't a half-human. A voice tells Subaru he must face his past, and he wakes up back home.
You need to face your own past.
That's wild. He's been spending so much time running around in this fantasy world, seeing him back in the real world is so sudden.
You look like you've just seen your own dad half naked first thing in the morning.
Then, he's greeted by his impossibly cheerful and swole as hell dad. In episode 29, Subaru finds himself back home with his mother and father. They have a normal morning, post-wake-up wrestling and a pea mountain breakfast.
Well, would you look at that? Bet you weren't expecting a mountain of peas.
Yeah, that's a completely normal way to start the day. When they finish eating, Subaru goes right back to his room. He's not gonna go to school today, just like every other day for the past few months. Just the thought of school gives him a panic attack. Instead, Subaru goes for a walk with his dad. Subaru remembers his childhood with pain in his heart.
I guess I just wanted you and Mom to call out my weakness, since I was the only one in pain, to tell me what a small person I am.
As far back as he can remember, he's been compared to his father. At first, this pushed him to do well in everything he tried, but eventually, the pressure to be like his amazing dad became too much. He stopped trying, and finally, he stopped going to school entirely. Through all this, his parents still supported him without question.
I wanted you to say, I don't love you, or I can't stand you.
Even now, as Subaru falls back into his old way of thinking that he's worthless, his father knocks some sense into him. Literally.
Who would ditch their own kid just because he retreated into a shell, huh?
Of course, his dad won't give up on him. Subaru is his son. His dad is there for him no matter what hardship he's going through. Subaru decides that it's better late than never. He goes back home and gets dressed for school. His mother walks with him, being just as supportive. She assures Subaru that he doesn't need to be like his dad. He's allowed to just be himself.
Which means do your best in your own way. Be the best you that you can. At least that's what I think.
He's also allowed to fail as long as he gets back up and tries again when he's done. Wow, these might be the most supportive parents in anime history. Subaru recalls Amelia and Rem and all the other people who are counting on him back in Lagunica. He might never see his parents again, but he promises to keep them in his heart.
Take care of yourself.
Thanks, I will!
He says goodbye to his mom and walks into the school. There, waiting inside an empty classroom, is Echidna. In episode 30, Echidna tells Subaru that there are 3 trials in total, and he just passed the first one.
Even if it was all fabricated and not real, I said some things to my parents I thought I'd never get to say. And I realized there's no way I'd have gotten that chance without you.
Subaru returns to the ruins. He might have passed his first trial, but Amelia definitely hasn't. She's freaking out, unable to get past what she saw in her own past. Amelia and Subaru return to Sanctuary, where they meet the representative of Sanctuary, Ryuzu Bilma. Ryuzu looks like an adorable little pink-haired girl, but she's actually hundreds of years old.
I am Ryuzu Bilma. It is my duty, you might say, to represent this community.
The group brainstorms other ideas for bypassing the barrier and freeing the demi-humans, but everything they come up with is flawed. Any half-human who passes through the barrier turns into an empty shell of themselves. The trial is the only way to free them.
When a body without a soul exits the barrier, it ceases to function. For all intents and purposes, it's dead.
Luckily, Amelia can compete in the trial as many times as she wants, so she resolves to keep trying. Since Amelia is a half-elf, she's just as stuck in the sanctuary as everybody else. That means there's no reason to keep the villagers as prisoners any longer. Garfield and Ryuzu allow the villagers to go home. Subaru goes with them and returns to Roswaal's mansion, intent on talking to Betty.
What is going on around here?
Instead, he finds a completely empty house. Frederica, Petra, and Rem are nowhere to be found. Before he can do anything else, he's killed by a familiar face that's returned to haunt him from his past, the bowel hunter Elsa. In episode 31, Subaru's death takes him back in time. He returns to the ruins right after he completed the first trial. Knowing what is coming, Subaru tries to speed things along. He offers to take on the rest of the trials instead of Amelia, but she refuses to let him. She's pretty upset that he doesn't believe in her.
So, are you saying you don't trust me to do this myself?
Subaru decides to leave Amelia and return to the mansion ASAP. Ram comes with him. They manage to get there before everything goes to hell. Frederica and Petra are doing just fine, and so is the sleeping Rem. As they presumed, Frederica is Garfield's older sister. They have different fathers, and her own father was half human. This means the beast part of her blood is too low to keep her trapped in the sanctuary. The blue gem she gave to Amelia had 2 main functions: to protect her as she passed through the barrier, but it was also how Subaru teleported to Echidna's realm.
If you don't know about the teleporting, why give Barasu that stone then?
In other words, it has some connection to Echidna, the Witch of Greed. Elsa arrives right on cue, holding Petra hostage. Frederica transforms into a golden wolf-like beast and rescues the young maid. They try to escape, but a huge manticore maw beast appears in the mansion. In the chaos of the battle, the mansion's ceiling collapses. Sweet, innocent Petra is killed right in front of Subaru's eyes, leaving him holding her severed hand. That's horrible.
I want to know who sent you to come after all of us.
Sorry, but I never speak of my clients.
But before Subaru can die too, Betty steps in and saves him. In episode 32, Betty traps Subaru in her room and heals him against his will. He wants to die so he can try to save everyone again, but Betty won't hear any of it. She claims she's doing everything for Mother and hugs a book lovingly. Wait, is that another witch's gospel? That's the book that marks people as members of the cult and tells them what to do. Is Betty somehow connected to the witch's cult?
Why did you stop me from dying?
I don't know.
Are you saying you can't do anything that isn't in the pages of that book?
No, say it ain't so. Still, Betty can't save Subaru in the end. Elsa finds Betty's room and kills Subaru. Time rewinds again, and Subaru ends up back at the ruins with Amelia. That night, Garfield tells Subaru that Ryuzu wants to talk to him. When Subaru gets to the meeting spot, he's ambushed and tied up. Hey! You see, Ryuzu and Garfield don't trust Subaru because he has the stench of the Witch of Greed.
You can smell the witch's scent on me.
I don't know what you're planning, but it can't be anything good if the witch's tomb is a part of it.
They need him to stay out of Amelia's way while she completes the trials. Subaru is then hauled off to a dark dungeon in the depths of Sanctuary. He lies here, tied up and despairing as time passes. 3 days later, the merchant Otto finds and frees him.
I still don't understand why you decided to help me.
I just think of you as a friend, Mr. Natsuki.
He tells Subaru that everyone has been looking for him and that Amelia is still failing the first trial. But now Otto is here, and they're stronger together. Episode 33 reveals that Otto isn't the only friend Subaru has on his side. Ram also joins their cause, going against Roswaal's wishes. Yo, that is so out of character for her. Especially since Ram is usually weirdly devoted to Roswaal. Subaru uses this chance to find out more about Betty.
While her book isn't a gospel, it is somewhat unique.
It turns out that Betty isn't in the witch's cult, which is a relief. The book she has isn't a gospel. It's actually a special prototype that the cultists' gospels are based on. Betty's book is rumored to tell readers their futures, and there are only 2 of them in the world. Their reunion is cut short by a very angry Garfield in full Tiger Beast mode. Subaru and Otto try to get away while he still catches up to them.
Wait, Garfield, no.
Without hesitation, Garfield rips Otto apart. Subaru's dragon pushes him out of harm's way, but also knocks him out cold. Subaru wakes up the next morning. Sanctuary is covered in snow.
I don't get it. Where is everybody?
It's eerily quiet, with not a soul around. Until an adorable white bunny rabbit with a unicorn horn hops up to him. Subaru reaches for the rabbit, and it bites his whole hand off. Jesus, top 10 anime betrayals of all time. Dozens of more rabbits then show up and gnaw Subaru to death. This is somehow even worse than Elsa's disembowelment. But instead of being reborn at the ruins, Subaru is whisked away to another tea party with Echidna.
And if that comes at a price, fine, I'll pay whatever you want. In return, I want assurance you won't hide yourself in my memories.
Maybe this time don't drink the... nope, he's still drinking it. Anyway, Echidna reveals that she knows all about Subaru's power.
I returned by death!
I get it, I said. Just listen to me for a minute.
Subaru can finally talk to someone about this. What a relief! He's been all alone until now, shouldering the burden of returning by death over and over to set things right. And Echidna, it turns out, has been watching the whole time. In episode 34, Subaru finds out that the murderous bunnies are collectively called the Great Rabbit. It's another beast like the white whale, made by the Witch of Gluttony. The only way to take them down is to kill them all at the same time.
To truly eradicate this creature, you would have to kill every one of them at exactly the same time.
Subaru has to do it within 4 days, while helping Amelia complete the trials and saving everyone at Roswaal's mansion. Easy peasy. Echidna offers to let Subaru speak to the Witch of Gluttony herself, but she warns Subaru not to touch her. Then she transforms into an adorable little girl who Subaru immediately touches.
There is only one way to pay for sins, and that is through pain.
You had one job! Subaru promptly and very literally falls apart. But this little girl isn't the Witch of Gluttony. That was the Witch of Pride. The next witch to appear isn't Gluttony either. She's the fairy-like Witch of Wrath. She punches Subaru back into one piece with the power of love. I mean, the power of anger and wrath.
I'm the Witch of Wrath, Minerva, but giving my name isn't what's important right now.
You just did, though!
What gives? Aren't these witches supposed to be, like, super horrible and evil? Finally, the Witch of Gluttony appears. She's also an adorable little girl, but she's confined and blindfolded in a standing coffin that moves around on spider-like little legs.
Daphne has arrived. What would you like to ask me, Subaru?
Now that's more like it. She's at least a little scary. Subaru asks Gluttony why she created the Great Rabbit and White Whale.
With those two around, people could eat and eat. No one would ever go hungry.
It's simple, really. Eating is like her whole thing, and she wanted the people to have something to eat forever. The whale is massive, and the rabbits reproduce quickly, ensuring the people never go hungry. Gluttony then tells Subaru that he can use mana to lure the rabbits just like the whale.
The Great Rabbit is naturally drawn to places that have a lot of mana. So you could use a powerful magic user as a lure, then wipe them all out at once when they gather there.
Gluttony then leaves, and Subaru is left with Echidna again. In exchange for her help, Echidna takes the idea of Petra's handkerchief from Subaru. Not the cloth itself, but the love that it represents. It's metaphorical. Get it? Then she sends Subaru back to the real world. This time, Amelia is nowhere to be found. Subaru leaves the ruins and finds the shadowy figure of the Witch of Envy. Apparently, this shadow woman loves Subaru.
I love you. I love you.
She loves him. She loves him so much that her love threatens to consume him. Subaru is pulled out of the witch's shadowy embrace by Garfield. Forget about their disagreements right now. They have bigger problems to deal with. In episode 35, Subaru and Garfield run away from the love-obsessed Witch of Envy. The world is covered in shadow, and only Subaru and Garfield seem to be left. Garfield leads Subaru to a whole bunch of clones of Ryuzu. But there's no time to explain. They fight against the Witch of Envy, but are swallowed by her darkness. Subaru fights against her power. Petra's handkerchief transforms into a dagger, and he frees himself through death. Seems like Echidna knew something was about to happen.
I swear, I'll save you no matter what, I promise you.
Free at last, Subaru rewinds back to after the first trial. He asks Ram to keep Garfield distracted and heads straight to find Ryuzu. Inside a strange structure, Subaru finds Echidna's laboratory. He opens a door to reveal a huge blue crystal like the one Frederica gave Amelia. And inside sleeps Ryuzu, frozen in time.
Is that Ryuzu?
The Ryuzu in the crystal is the original one. The one all the other copies were made out of. This place was created by Echidna as a way to pass on her soul from one body to the next. Instead, it served as a way to make copies of Ryuzu out of mana.
Does knowing that I am not the original change how you see me?
I don't know.
And all of it, somehow, has something to do with Betty. That night, Subaru makes a decision. He doesn't want to endanger anyone else, so he leaves for the mansion alone. As soon as he gets back to the mansion, he tells the maids to evacuate with Rem, then he heads to talk to Betty. In episode 36, Subaru tries to get Betty to leave with him, but she refuses. Her book is supposed to tell her what's going to happen, but it turns out all the pages are completely blank. She's been bound to Roswaal's forbidden library for 400 years, waiting for someone mysterious to come and release her. She doesn't want freedom. She's had enough of being stuck in this miserable world. What she wants is true release.
Don't you even joke about that! Maybe you can say it to some other people, but I won't let you say it to me!
Subaru doesn't want to kill Betty, but Elsa is more than willing to. She arrives in the room, and Subaru flees the mansion with Betty, but Elsa isn't working alone. Outside, they run into a young maw beast handler named Millie. She was the one who brought the beasts to the village back in Season 1. Millie has already taken the other maids out of commission.
It wasn't very friendly of you to run away.
The legendary Bowel Hunter just refuses to stay down. Finally, Elsa lands a killing blow on Betty. As her last act alive, Betty teleports Subaru away to the sanctuary ruins before dissolving into mana. Subaru finds Amelia still in the ruins, but something's not right with her.
I want you to stay with me forever. As long as I have you here beside me, I don't need anything else.
She tells Subaru that she loves him and wants him to stay with her forever. Subaru knows that this isn't Amelia. He walks out to find that he's too late. There's snow everywhere, and Garfield is waiting for him. In desperation, Subaru and Garfield go to talk with Roswaal, the only one who seems to know more about what's happening. It doesn't go well, though.
Thank you. You've proven to be a most excellent servant once again, Ram.
Roswaal decides to go off the wall and destroy Garfield by thrusting his hand right through Ram. Then he kicks Garfield's head off. Brutal and so unnecessary. What did they ever do to you?
Is it not because you sense that this is something you can undo?
You knew?
Roswaal, it turns out, has a prototype of the gospel just like Betty, and this one, apparently, actually has words on it. Roswaal seems to know that Subaru has been reliving time, but not how he does it. He's also, apparently, completely unhinged. Roswaal kicks Subaru outside into the snow, where the great rabbits approach.
Another version of me will be there after your return to the beginning. As long as he fulfills my goals one day, it makes no difference.
Subaru watches Roswaal get eaten alive before getting devoured by the cute little bunnycorns too. As Subaru is returned by death in episode 37, he calls out to Echidna. Instead, he finds himself back in the ruins and facing the second trial. This one shows him the unthinkable present, all the different ways that things could have played out.
Was it how that world looked after I died?
He sees the aftermath of every one of his deaths, his quests unfulfilled, his loved ones mourning him. A vision of Rem appears to Subaru. She tells him he can rest now, but he doesn't believe it's her for a second.
Who are you, anyway? She would never tell me to just take it easy and rest. She wouldn't say that I should give up and entrust everything to her either.
The real Rem would never let him give up on something halfway through. And with the second trial passed, Subaru finds himself at another tea party with Echidna. Echidna tells Subaru that she wants to form a contract with him.
I would like to form a contract with you. Are you interested?
A contract with me?
She's been watching him for a while, and she's pretty intrigued. She has a hunger for knowledge, and with Subaru's powers, she'd be able to get so much more information about the world. In return, Subaru would be allowed to use her help and powers any way he sees fit.
You plan on using me, is that it?
Indeed, and you can do the same to me.
Subaru considers it, but first, he wants to know more about Betty. Why would Echidna leave her with instructions to follow a blank book? Echidna explains that she wanted Betty to learn how to make her own decisions. So, she gave her an empty book and told her to wait for that person. But who is that person? Echidna has no effing clue.
I get to find out who it is that she'll choose to be that person.
She just wanted to know what kind of person would cause Betty to disobey orders and leave the library. She did it for the knowledge. Subaru doesn't really love that answer. It's so mean to Betty. She's been suffering. Instead of joining forces with Echidna, Subaru decides he's gonna form a contract with Betty. In episode 38, the Witch of Envy arrives at the tea party. Something is different though. She's no longer trying to consume Subaru with her love. Instead, she's upset that he keeps letting himself get hurt.
You need to love yourself more.
What the hell did you just say?
She tells Subaru to love himself more. Just because he can die over and over doesn't mean that he should. He has other qualities that give him value, and people who will mourn him if he ever actually dies. Subaru is worth saving too.
Can I really believe that the people I care about also care for me?
He promises Satella that one day he'll find a way to save her too.
There will be a day when I'll need you to come and take my life.
I'm going to save you.
And then Echidna sends him back to the ruins. When Subaru tries to enter the trial chamber, he gets violently sick. It looks like Echidna has taken away his free pass. It's all up to Amelia now. Subaru rushes to Roswaal, who admits something horrible. He's the one who ordered the attack on the mansion.
It was you.
I sent assassins to the mansion to help sharpen your resolve.
What? Why would he do something like that? Turns out, it's all according to the Book of Truth. He can't have Subaru getting distracted from his task of helping Amelia. He set things up in such a way that Subaru can't save both maids and Amelia. He has to choose. And Roswaal wants to be sure Subaru always chooses Amelia. That's manipulative as hell. Episode 39 starts with Subaru making Roswaal a deal. If he manages to save both the mansion and the sanctuary, Roswaal has to ditch the Book of Truth and come with Subaru.
If I manage to save both the sanctuary and the mansion, you'll ditch that book and come with me.
Roswaal accepts, though he fully expects Subaru to fail. Well then, I guess he has nothing to lose. First order of business, figure out what's keeping Amelia from completing the first trial. He finds her in her room, despairing about having to try it again.
I want to know if you feel up to telling me exactly what it is you saw during the trial. Now, I'm not sure that I can be of any help.
So, Subaru offers her a listening ear. Amelia doesn't remember much about her past. Puck found her encased in ice in a forest when she was about 6, maybe 7?
Since I was 6 or 7, we all lived in the forest together before it froze.
And listen here, if I hear or see one joke about those two numbers in the comments, I swear. Anyway, the rest of her village has been turned to ice, and nothing they did had any effect. When they left the village, they met Roswaal. He made her a promise. If she takes control of the throne, he'll find a way to thaw her home village.
If you succeed in taking the throne, perhaps I can find a way to thaw the ice that encases this forest.
Speaking of Puck, the little furry spirit has been missing for a while. What has he been up to? Puck is a greater spirit who has a contract with Amelia. He's also, somehow, her father. Through this contract, he's sworn to protect Amelia and be there for her if she ever needs help. He used to show up every day, 9 to 5, like it was a job, but he hasn't appeared since they left for the sanctuary. Puck finally comes out of hiding during Amelia and Subaru's conversation. Then he drops a bombshell. He's been gone because he was trying to break his contract with Amelia.
It's time for me to break the contract between the two of us.
What? It's all for good reason, though. You see, leaving the contract will release the seal that's keeping Amelia's memories hidden away from her. This might be all she needs to finally be able to face the past and complete the trial. Puck tells Amelia that he loves her and vanishes. Meanwhile, Otto is on a quest from Subaru to distract Garfield. Did you forget about Otto? Don't worry, happens to him all the time. In episode 40, Otto keeps Garfield distracted with the help of his forest friends. Rom joins in with a surprise attack, revealing herself to still be on Subaru's side.
Despite the situation, if he believes he sees an opportunity and acts on it, then rest assured that's the only path to victory.
Meanwhile, Subaru has a heart-to-heart with Amelia. She's struggling with losing Puck and the memories that suddenly flooded back into her mind. She feels weak, selfish, and unworthy of the villagers' trust or Subaru's love.
It's not because I believe in you that I love you! Don't you understand? I believe in you because I love you!
They argue, but in the end, Subaru tells her he still loves her, even if she has weaknesses. She might have her memories back, but they don't change who she is.
No matter what memories you get back, it won't change anything, 'cause I'll love you just the same.
Subaru promises Amelia that he will remain by her through all hardships. And then, with her consent, he kisses her. In episode 41, an enraged Garfield gets away from Otto and faces Amelia and Subaru. Amelia asks Garfield what he's so afraid of.
I know you are. That's why you're always shouting and trying to make yourself look bigger.
Through a sequence of flashbacks, we learn why Garfield is so against leaving the sanctuary. 15 years ago, when Garfield and Frederica were little kids, their human mom left the sanctuary. As Garfield remembers it, she was leaving to find happiness elsewhere. He struggled a lot with feeling abandoned, but wanted to be happy for his mother. He even got the scar on his face by bashing his face into the wall, trying to erase the memory of her kiss goodbye. But that's not even the worst part. The worst part was that his mom never even made it out of the sanctuary.
Right after Mom left here, there was a landslide. And she died.
Her carriage was caught in a landslide, and she died in the crash. Wow, that's tragic. In the present, Garfield lashes out at Subaru, who discovers a neat trick. He can now use Beetlejuice's unseen hand power. Well, that'll come in handy. Get it? 'Cause like, unseen hand, it'll be handy. Subaru knocks Garfield out cold with his invisible hand power. When Garfield wakes up a little while later, he's got a comfy pillow, Rom's lap, and a new sense of purpose.
From now on, clear your mind, fight with an empty head. For myself and Miss Amelia, too.
He decides it's time to stop running and attempt the trial again. At the trial, he sees his mother leaving the sanctuary. He remembers that she wasn't running away from her kids to find happiness. She was going out there to find Garfield's father and bring him back with her. She just wanted them all to be happy. After all these years, Garfield finally manages to complete the first trial.
I think the reason I was able to take on the trial was because of all of you guys. So thanks.
Now, Subaru has completed 2 trials and Garfield has completed 1. But at the end of the day, both still turn to Amelia to save the sanctuary. She has her memories back and has the backing of all her friends. She walks into the ruins and faces Echidna with confidence.
My name is Amelia, nothing more or less. And I was born in Elior Forest. I'm the Frozen Witch.
She remembers now that she's a frozen witch, and she's ready to face her past. In episode 42, Amelia and Echidna watch Amelia's past unfold together. When Amelia was a little girl, she lived in a beautiful forest with her aunt. Her parents were always away, so her aunt was like a mother to her. Amelia called her Mother Fortuna.
That silver hair of yours is exactly like my brother's. However, I believe your gentle features come from your mother's side.
Amelia lived a perfect life, loved and protected by her village and surrogate mother. Also, she was absolutely adorable. Look at her! Once in a while, people from the witch's cult came to the forest. They weren't evil and violent like they are now. Instead, they brought the forest dwellers new clothes, books, and other goods from the outside world. Amelia's people, like those of the sanctuary, were forced to live in this small forest town sealed from the rest of the world.
As long as I know Miss Amelia's growing up safe and in good health, then that'll be enough.
And the person who led the cultists was a young, not insane Beetlejuice. Oh damn, time was not kind to this guy. When Amelia was young, she discovered that she could communicate with spirits. She was a mischievous little child, so when the spirits led her to see something special, she followed. Standing in the middle of the forest was a mysterious door known as the Seal.
This door's strange. Why won't it fall over? I don't understand how it works.
When Fortuna finds out Amelia went there, she has her promise never to go to the door again.
A promise is the embodiment of trust. And to break it is to betray that trust, so you mustn't ever do it again.
Ah, this is why Amelia was so upset that Subaru didn't keep his promise. Obviously, this sweet little life wasn't what had Amelia so shaken up after every trial. Amelia's life changes forever when a young man with white hair arrives in the village, when he and Gluttony led to Rem and Crucier's destruction. His name is Regulus Corneus, and he's the Archbishop of the Witches' Cult, representing greed. Episode 43 continues Amelia's painful journey through her buried memories. The day Regulus arrives in her village, he brings a young, white-haired girl named Pandora, the Witch of Vanity. Regulus is at the village for his own questionable reasons, but Pandora is there for one specific task. She's after the seal.
Now, bring the key and seal to me, so the witch's cult can fulfill its long-cherished desire.
Beetlejuice uses the power of the unseen hand for the first time to protect Fortuna and the other villagers. The moment he does, his sanity begins to crack.
I swear you won't get past me! Never!
Ah, there's the one we know and love from last season. Beetlejuice's power and Fortuna's magic aren't enough to keep the intruders away. So Fortuna sends Amelia away with one of the villagers, but the villager is taken down by the third and final great maw beast of the world, the White Serpent. Knowing he's dying, he tells Amelia to run forward and not look back.
No, don't worry. I'll be fine.
Alone and terrified, young Amelia feels that she has to do something to save her home. The witches want the seal, right? Well, she knows where it is. If she gives it to them, maybe they'll just leave. She runs to the door in the middle of the forest and finds Pandora already waiting there for her. In episode 44, young Amelia discovers that she is, quite literally, the key to the seal. She envisions the key and poof, there it is in her hand. But now, she's torn. On one hand, Pandora says she'll leave Amelia's village if she opens the seal. On the other hand, Amelia promised Fortuna to never go near the door again. And promises are more important. So, Amelia refuses to open the seal. The noble decision is for nothing though. Pandora will just open it by force.
I need for you to accept my decision that the seal will be opened. By any means necessary.
Fortuna shows up just in time to stop Pandora, but the witch seems indestructible. When Beetlejuice arrives a moment later, he slices into Pandora easily. Too easily. Pandora tricked him into thinking Fortuna was actually Pandora. He struck down his own beloved Fortuna right in front of her daughter.
No, it can't be.
That's so freaking brutal. Amelia has to watch her mother figure die in her arms. Poor little Amelia. Now that Fortuna isn't alive anymore, Pandora points out that Amelia doesn't have to keep her promise. And what does Amelia say? Amelia says, die.
Just die! 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 Die!
Amelia summons an immense amount of power. In her anguish, she freezes the entire forest village, including herself. That was intense. Current day Amelia watches everything unfold, but this time, she's not shaken by the memories. She's ready to accept her past and move on.
I stood my ground, refused to yield, and kept my promise. I don't regret it.
She's done being sad about things she can't change in the future. Instead, she's confident that she'll find a way to save everyone. Finally, Amelia successfully completed the first trial.
Mother Fortuna, I'm so sorry.
There are 2 more to go, but first, Amelia and Subaru have a bone to pick with Roswaal. They return to the house where he waits, out of his bandages and fully dressed for the first time since they arrived at Sanctuary. In episode 45, we discover the true purpose of the Sanctuary. About 400 years ago, a young ancestor of Roswaal arrived on the current site of the Sanctuary. Roswaal was the most powerful magic user in the kingdom, but this came at a cost. His mana supplies were so high that it was physically hurting him. Echidna found him stumbling through her village. Even though she calls herself an evil witch, Echidna helped Roswaal by sucking some mana out. With a kiss, of course. For Roswaal, it was love at first mana suck, as they say. He stuck around with Echidna, revering her as her teacher.
Please tell me, who are you?
I'm an evil witch. One who still shows kindness, at least occasionally.
Echidna lived in the small village with a little pink-haired girl named Ryuzu and a greater spirit who called herself her daughter, Betty. Yeah, that Betty. But everything changed the day that the Sanctuary was founded.
We should flee this place immediately. If he comes here, then our plan will most assuredly fail.
One day, a shadowy, super downer of a man called the Devil of Melancholy showed up at their doorstep. Even the extremely powerful Roswaal was no match for the devil himself. All he could do was buy them more time. Echidna had been getting ready to seal the area around them and trap the devil. She had a barrier in place, but she was still missing a source of power to activate it. That's where Ryuzu and Betty came into the picture. To save them all, Ryuzu was willing to make the ultimate sacrifice. She asked Betty to encase her in a crystal. Her mana-rich body could act like a battery for the barrier.
This magic crystal will be the catalyst to form the barrier using your ode as the core? Yes, that's right.
She sacrificed herself to form the Sanctuary and save her friends and family. Back in the present, Roswaal still refuses to call off the attack on the mansion. He's been completely devoted to his book for 400 years, and he's not about to change that now. He'll do whatever he can to bring his beloved Echidna back.
In the sense that we both force our lofty ideals upon the women we love.
And for some reason, he needs Amelia to become the new king to do so. Right now, though, he just doesn't believe that she has what it takes. In episode 46, Amelia returns to the ruins to start the second trial. Rom meets her there. She tells Amelia that Subaru, Otto, and Garfield have left for the mansion. Yeah, you heard right. Garfield's with them. He's also only a quarter beast, so he could actually leave the sanctuary this whole time. Rom gets down on her knees and begs Amelia to help Roswaal.
A series of delusions has clouded and possessed his mind. They've cursed his soul.
Roswaal set her home ablaze when she was young, then forced her into serving him for 400 years. And yet, somehow, she still has a lot of fondness for him. Stockholm Syndrome. Amelia does agree to help and heads inside for the second trial. While she does that, Rom embarks on a quest of her own. She tracks Roswaal to Echidna's laboratory. He's planning to use the power of Ryuzu's crystal to cover the world in snow, as the Book of Truth says. And Rom is there to stop him.
I've come to take you away from the witch's delusions.
Rom knows she can't take Roswaal on by herself. Luckily, Puck is still around, and he's got a score to settle with Roswaal for putting his dear daughter in danger. Meanwhile, Elsa arrives at the mansion and attacks Frederica and Petra. Petra cries out for Subaru's help, and just like magic, he appears.
You're safe now.
Are you really here? You came to rescue us?
It's me, and I did.
And right behind him are Otto and Garfield. Episode 47 jumps right into the battle between Elsa and Garfield. Frederica gets the sleeping Ren, and Otto and Petra run away. While everyone's busy, Subaru goes after Betty. Subaru finds her room without a problem, as he always does. Poor Betty feels abandoned by the world and by her mother. Subaru tells her that it's time to choose her own fate, instead of relying on a blank book to rule her life.
Don't let something like a blank book and a 400-year-old promise rule your life forever, because you're better than that.
Betty asks Subaru if he might be that person that Echidna told her about. This is his chance. If he tells her that he is, she might follow him to safety. But Subaru decides to take the path of brutal honesty instead, and says, nope, it's not him.
Have you lost your mind? You've got to be kidding me. There's no way I could be whoever that person is to you.
Betty kicks him out of her room in fury. Subaru rejoins the others, and they find themselves trapped between Elsa and Millie's maw beasts. While her friends are fighting for their lives, Amelia faces the second trial. Her unthinkable present is a world where Fortuna and Beetlejuice are still alive. She's shown what her life might look like if the witches never arrived in her forest.
Why don't you join us, Goose? The three of us could live together.
She enjoys a picnic with her mother and her mother's sweetheart. It's so sweet and so sad. But Amelia knows this world is only an illusion. She's ready to leave and face the challenges of the real world.
And I know that I'll be just fine. So I'm not afraid of the outside world or of what the future holds.
So, Echidna boots Amelia out of the trial with another win. 2 down, 1 to go. When Amelia emerges from the ruins, she finds all the villagers waiting outside for her. They could have left a long time ago, but they all stayed to support her.
As you can see, Miss Amelia, we'll be waiting right here as promised.
These are the same people who blamed Amelia for all their troubles just a short while ago. Aww. Touched by the villagers' trust in her, Amelia goes right back into the ruins. This time, she faces the third and final trial.
Face the disaster that is yet to come.
The disaster yet to come. In episode 48, Amelia faces dark visions of the future. She sees destruction and hears words of sorrow and hate from people she loves. But she remains strong. These futures aren't certain. She has faith that she and her friends can prevent them and have a good future instead.
You saw those awful things to come, yet you... True, but they're not guaranteed, right?
And that's it. That's the whole trial. That was so much easier than the other two. She's finally done it. She faced her past, present, and future. She's broken the barrier and freed the people of Sanctuary. But when Amelia walks out, she finds the entire world covered in snow. Meanwhile, Subaru has good news. He managed to take down another mob beast by setting it on fire. Unfortunately, he also sets the entire mansion on fire.
Be careful! Promise you'll stay safe!
The battle between Garfield and Elsa rages on. Her wounds just keep regenerating. Garfield keeps at it though, and finally wins through mutual destruction. They go down, both biting down on each other's flesh. Once she's down, Garfield snatches up one of Millie's mob beasts and crushes Elsa with its massive body. At the sanctuary, Rom and Puck battle against Roswaal, surrounded by flames from the fight. Rom hits Roswaal with something much more effective than a punch. She tells him she loves him.
Master Roswaal, I love you.
Then, she gets Roswaal's book and chucks it into the fire. She looks at him with a smile as an explosion shakes the clearing. In episode 49, Amelia finds Roswaal in the aftermath of the explosion, holding a severely hurt Rom.
Please tell me! What should I do, teacher? Answer me!
He's lost without his book. He's given up hope completely. But Amelia refuses to give up on him. Still, it might be too late. The great rabbits begin to come out, approaching in their menacingly adorable way. Fire spreads throughout Roswaal's mansion. The others escape, but Subaru stays behind to search for Betty. Subaru keeps opening all the doors in the mansion until only one is left. Betty is so tired. She's tired of waiting. She's tired of being scared. Her library begins to collapse in on itself, and she asks Subaru to help her.
You don't need me to try and rescue you. In fact, I'm pretty sure you don't need my help at all.
No, Subaru is still not that person. But Betty doesn't need someone to come and save her. She's always had the power to save herself. Subaru reaches out to Betty and urges her to take her life into her own hands.
Choose me, Beatrice. I beg you.
But at some point, you'll go away forever.
That's just the way it is.
Moments later, a brilliant light rises from the mansion and heads straight to the sanctuary. In episode 50, the final episode of season 2, Betty and Subaru appear in front of Amelia in the sanctuary. They now have a contract and are ready to destroy the Great Rabbit together. Holding hands, they use their magic to herd the bunnies into one spot. Then, Betty casts a special teleportation spell that makes them all disappear from this plane of existence.
They'll never be able to make their way back out, I suppose.
Wow, they did it. That was really easy, actually. The entire group gathers to celebrate, and by celebrate, I mean take turns punching Roswaal. Rom is alive, and all the villages are unharmed too. Even Roswaal seems different. Whatever frenzied delusions were filling his head, he's a lot less evil now. Still, after everything, it's easy to see why the group doesn't really trust him anymore. Except they have nothing to worry about. He lost the bet with Subaru, so now he has an oath sealed by a curse branded on his body.
And if I were to break this promise, my soul will be forever tarnished and my body will burn away in the flames of hell.
He no longer wants to hurt them, but even if he did, he wouldn't be able to. It looks like everything's been resolved. Well, almost everything. Amelia corners Subaru and promises she'll take good care of their baby. What?
There may have been a boy and girl kiss on the lips, right?
Damn it! I hate you, Puck!
Oh, sweet, innocent Amelia. She thinks her kiss made her pregnant. And here I thought we missed a huge plot point. A while after the ordeal in Sanctuary, Subaru and all his friends and villagers gather for a fancy celebration. Everyone attends a formal gathering to celebrate Subaru being officially sworn in as Amelia's knight.
You don't mind if I rely on you?
Have you already forgotten that promise I made to you a few minutes ago? I want you to depend on me before anyone else.
Subaru promises to protect Amelia, and the two dance the night away, surrounded by the people who love and support them. Episode 51 marks the beginning of the third season of ReZero. This special 90-minute episode catches up with Subaru, Amelia, and the others, a year after the end of Season 2. In the time that's passed, Subaru has been training hard to become stronger as Amelia's knight.
Betty has only gotten cuter over the last year.
And I've gotten a whole lot stronger over the last year.
All has returned to pretty much normal, except for Rem, who's still asleep, and Puck, who's fallen completely dormant since the battle with Roswaal. One day, a messenger from Anastasia Hoshin brings Amelia a message. She and her knight are invited to attend a party at the Watergate city of Pristella.
Lady Anastasia would like to extend an invitation to Amelia to the Watergate city of Pristella.
Anastasia may have some information about a special crystal that can revive Puck. Oh, well, let's go then. Pristella is a grand city built entirely on water. When it rains, the water rises up so high that the entire city floods. That's why the city is enclosed by tall walls with water gates to protect it. Amelia and Subaru prepare to leave at once, joined by Otto, Betty, and Garfield. They leave Roswaal, Rom, and the sleeping Rem behind at the mansion. On the way to Pristella, Otto helpfully recounts the status of all the candidates for the throne. Amelia has risen in popularity among people thanks to her role in the White Whales and Beetlejuice's death.
And the other two number balancing candidates, they've managed to make a huge amount of progress this year, Priscilla especially.
The stuck-up Priscilla has also become more popular since she's inherited her dead husband's estate. The underdog, Felt, is very popular with the misfits of the capital. Plus, she has Reinhardt, the nation's strongest knight, by her side. Meanwhile, Crucier's popularity has dropped quite a bit because of her memory loss. Anastasia is the only heir whose public opinion stayed pretty much the same in the last year. She has her trading company behind her, making her wealth her greatest weapon. Anastasia and Julius greet Subaru and his group in Pristella at an inn.
The view here is magnificent. Don't you think, Lord Subaru? Yeah, Lord Subaru my ass.
They get straight down to business. The de facto ruler of Pristella might have the crystal that can bring Puck back. He's known as the Songstress Maniac, for his obsession over a famous bard. They go to have a meeting with the Songstress Maniac right away. Somehow, Subaru and Betty manage to get separated and lost. It is a pretty big city. On their lost ramblings, they happen to come across the songstress herself. Now that's what I call a protagonist's luck. The songstress introduces herself as the famous bard Liliana Masquerade.
My name is Liliana.
She's a short, brown-skinned girl with a beautiful singing voice and a silly, clumsy personality. She tries to help Subaru with the meeting, but ends up completely botching it.
Let go of her at once!
When Subaru and his friends return to the inn, they realize that they're not Anastasia's only guests. In fact, she's gathered all the other throne heirs and their entourages, except Priscilla. Crucier and Felix, Wilhelm and his grandson Reinhard, Felt, and even the thugs from Season 1 are here as Felt's companions.
He's actually an old acquaintance from the capital. It was a while back, but he and his two buddies tried to rob me of everything I had.
With everyone finally gathered, Anastasia shares her real reason for bringing them all here. She believes that the Sin Archbishop representing Gluttony is in Pristella.
No matter whose blade reaches him first, there's no hard feelings.
The next morning, the group enjoys breakfast while they listen to Liliana sing over the citywide broadcast system. Their nice morning is interrupted by the arrival of Heinkel Astrea, Reinhardt's father and Wilhelm's son. It's not a happy reunion, though. Heinkel is absolutely, completely, and utterly drunk. Why is he even here?
Tell us why you really came here today.
Turns out, Priscilla brought him. Oh, yeah, she invited herself and Al to the party. She brought Heinkel along because she figured it would be fun.
Simply because it seemed like it would be an amusing thing to do.
She doesn't remember Subaru at all. Look, Pristilla's really the main character here, and Subaru's just some unimportant NPC.
So go on, entertain me. After all, that's what you minor characters are here for.
Later that day, Subaru, Amelia, and Betty wander through the city and bump into Pristella, who's dancing to Liliana's singing. Wait, Pristella can dance? I thought all she was good at was acting bratty. Liliana suggests that Subaru should go get some snacks for them.
I don't know about you, but I feel like you should grab some snacks for us to enjoy, don't you?
As Subaru walks back with the snacks, a figure on a tall tower gets everyone's attention. She stands high above them in a flowing cloak, covered head to toe in bandages. She introduces herself as the Sin Archbishop of the Witches' Cult representing Wrath, Sirius Romane Conti. Sirius politely and excitedly thanks all the passersby for paying attention to her.
What I want to know is a matter of love.
Oh, hey, she doesn't seem too bad. Everyone in the crowd seems to like her too. They laugh at how silly she is. Maybe she's not insane like the rest of the archbishops?
Please forgive me. I'm sorry it's so tight, but you're a boy and it's not manly to cry so much.
Never mind, she's completely bonkers. For some reason, no one is horrified at this chained-up boy that Sirius now holds up. Not even Subaru. Everyone keeps clapping when she holds him up, and they keep laughing as she drops him from the tower. They continue laughing and clapping right up until the moment the boy's face hits the ground. Then, the faces of everyone in the crowd explode with it. Subaru's return by death brings him back to the moment Liliana asks him to get snacks. Oh boy, here we go again.
I feel sick. I feel sick.
Welcome to Season 3 of ReZero, everyone! When episode 52 starts, Subaru immediately runs to the tower. She finds the boy inside and tries to save him, but then Sirius arrives. She hangs Subaru using her chain, apologizing the whole time.
Thank you! I'm so sorry! People can understand each other. They can be as one.
Subaru dies and rewinds back to Liliana's snack run. Subaru leaps into action again. This time he summons the help of the most powerful person he knows, Reinhardt. Sirius starts to monologue on the tower again, entrancing her audience. Sirius has the power of forced empathy, which basically turns everyone into one. Anything that happens to one person, physically or emotionally, happens to everyone who's connected to her. Before she can smash everyone's faces in again, Reinhardt arrives to save the day.
I can understand why you called me out here.
Reinhardt and Sirius fight, and Reinhardt overpowers her, but she doesn't seem too bothered. Actually, she seems downright delighted. The crowd around them chants for Reinhardt to kill her, including an entranced Subaru. So, Reinhardt slices Sirius in half, and everyone around him dies in the same horrible way. Rewind, try again.
That's the third time. Even Reinhardt couldn't do it.
Subaru chooses Betty's help this time. He practically drags her away and quickly fills her in on what's happening. But Amelia thinks that Subaru is acting strange, so she follows them. She overhears everything and insists on coming along to help. As soon as Sirius gets up on the tower, Amelia attacks her with her ice magic. They fight while Subaru and Betty rescue the boy from the tower. Just when the battle starts heating up, the white-haired Archbishop of Greed appears. He announces that he's come to make Amelia his 79th bride.
Amelia is destined to become my 79th wife.
It gets worse. Amelia is to replace the deceased bride number 79 out of 291. This guy's been busy. In episode 53, Subaru obviously isn't okay with Regulus claiming Amelia as his new fiancée. He doesn't even know her name. But Regulus's fighting is on another level.
Visible providence!
He's able to dodge every attack Subaru and Betty throw at him with ease. Both Sirius and Regulus then abruptly decide they've had enough fighting. Regulus invites Subaru to the wedding, then crushes his leg.
I want you to know the way you treated me earlier was extremely rude, but I guess we can call this even.
Ow! That's not a very nice wedding invitation. It gets worse though. Subaru was connected by forced empathy to everyone else on the street. This means every single person near them also gets their leg crushed. The next morning starts with a broadcast from another Sin Archbishop. This time, it's a representative of the Witch of Lust, Capella Emerada Lagunica. How many are there? When Subaru wakes up, he discovers that he's still alive thanks to Betty.
She's sound asleep over there.
Thank goodness you're okay.
She healed him and everyone else who was hurt. This depleted all her mana, and she fell into a deep sleep to reset. Subaru is itching to get back into action, but he's too hurt to fight. At the moment, Subaru and his friends are facing a number of threats. The Lust Witch Apostle Capella and the Wraith Witch Apostle Sirius are actively attacking the citizens.
So there are 3 Sin Archbishops? The whole city must be in a panic.
Regulus has Amelia held captive as his bride-to-be, and somewhere out there is the Apostle of Gluttony. The witch's cult now controls Pristella completely, so citizens are evacuating to safe houses. This looks pretty bad. In episode 54, Garfield is heading back to the inn from an adventure of his own. This whole trip has been a revelation for him. While the others were fighting witches, he discovered that his mom is still alive.
It appears you've been caring for my son. I appreciate it.
She survived the landslide and was rescued by the man she's now married to. Also, Garfield has 2 little half-siblings. On his way back, Garfield is ambushed by 2 ruthless cultists in cloaks and hoods.
Careful, Garf. These 2 are strong.
One is a huge man with, honestly, way too many arms, and another is a skilled sword-wielding woman. And as if we didn't have enough problems to deal with already. Subaru really should be resting, but there is no time. He and a group of fighters, including Wilhelm, Crucier, Julius, and Wolfman Ricardo, head back to fight against the witch. They battle the 2 cultists and find Capella, who's assumed the shape of a dragon.
You don't recognize my voice?
Attacking her really doesn't do anything, she just keeps regenerating. They also find the representative of Gluttony, or one of them at least. This guy looks different, sporting a long braid instead of a luscious cascade of hair. There are at least 2 different apostles of Gluttony. This one is named Roy Alfard, and he's the brother of Lai Betankaitos. Subaru doesn't care who's who. He's just mad that one of these monsters made everyone forget about Rem. At the same time, Amelia wakes up in a strange bed, completely naked.
Wait, Am I naked?
Regulus enters the room and asks if she's a virgin. Look, buddy, until like a year ago, this girl thought kissing made you pregnant. I don't think she's ready for virgin talk. Also, yuck. Episode 55 continues where the previous episode left off. As you might expect, sweet, innocent Amelia has no idea what a virgin is.
It's clear that you have a virgin body. But what matters even more is whether you have a virgin soul as well.
But thankfully, she's spared any more uncomfortable conversation by one of Regulus's wives. She's wife 184, doesn't even have a name. It turns out that Regulus has 291 wives, but only 53 of them are still alive. This guy's out here collecting wives like they're Pokemon. And now, lucky Amelia gets to be wife number 79. Creepy! Meanwhile, Julius stays behind to fight Gluttony, while Subaru and Crucier go after Capella. They follow her into the broadcast tower and free a hostage, but when they try to fight the other hostages, they discover that they've been turned into weird black creatures. It was all a trap. The hostage was actually Capella. She has the power to transform into anything and anyone.
I'll change myself into just your type of girl. I bet you'd really love that.
She's also able to turn her victims into cursed dark beasts like those flies. Capella shifts her arm into a lion's head and bites Subaru's leg right off. Well, at least Regulus's wound won't bother him anymore. She also bleeds her black dragon's blood onto Crucier's face as Crucier wails in pain. Subaru's other friends fight battles of their own against other enemies. Anastasia fights Sirius, Wilhelm, Ricardo, and Garfield fight the cultists. Felt and Reinhardt battle Reinhardt's own dumb father.
Don't even talk to me. You smell like booze.
Just when things can't seem to get any worse, Pristella's water gates rise, and a flood of water rushes into the city. And then, things don't get worse, because Capella's voice comes through the broadcast systems. She has a few demands, and one of her demands, declared on behalf of Regulus, is that Amelia must get married to Regulus. If she doesn't, the entire city will be destroyed. Oh boy. Episode 56 starts on a good note. The water gates only opened for long enough to wash away Subaru's enemies. They haven't drowned. You know you're doing great when the highlight of your day is not drowning. Priscilla and Liliana the songstress find Subaru unconscious by one of the towers. His leg has somehow regrown and can now heal really fast.
What are you going to do?
Damn it! She's not gonna win this! There's no way in hell!
Crucier is also rescued, but she's disfigured and bedbound by the dragon's blood. Subaru's entire party is relocated from the inn to the more secure government building. Anastasia assumes control of the interim ruler of Pristella, since the actual ruler is absolutely nowhere to be found. Anastasia is fully prepared to have casualties, but Subaru isn't.
When your goal is to save a majority, suffering loss is inevitable.
I hear what you're saying, Anastasia, but you're wrong about this.
He vows to save everyone. Meanwhile, Amelia is being prepped for her wedding by wife number 184. Regulus visits Amelia and nearly kills his other wife for not noticing that Amelia is stressed. Apparently, nothing should be stressful about getting forced into a marriage with a maniac.
Oh, please forgive me. I must have lost my head.
When the other wife and Regulus both leave, Amelia makes her move. She uses her ice powers to form a path outside her window. Pristella has 4 main control towers and 1 broadcast tower. Amelia is being kept in one of those towers. From her positioning by his window, she overhears Regulus talking to Capella using a phone-like communication device.
Really? So you aren't even the one who opened it? Oh, come on. Am I supposed to believe that excuse?
When Regulus leaves his room, Amelia sneaks in and picks up the device. To her surprise, the voice of Al, Priscilla's helmeted companion, speaks through. Amelia is delighted to hear Al's voice in episode 57. From Regulus's conversation, Amelia has pieced together which witch is at which tower.
Well, I got a response.
She gives Al this information, and he passes it on to Subaru. Nice going, Amelia! The people of Pristella are hiding away in shelters, but morale is low. The threat of the witch's cult and Wrath's forced empathy is making people angry with each other. Subaru has an idea. Someone should share a rallying, feel-good message over the broadcast system.
We only need to reawaken the hope these people once had.
After some back and forth between Subaru and the others, it's decided that Subaru is just the guy for the job. Moments later, Subaru's voice speaks out across the city, reaching everyone from the sheltering refugees to Amelia in her tower. Subaru tells them that He's pretty useless and scared. Not off to a great start there, buddy. But he also tells everyone that he's still going to rise up and fight back against the witch's cult.
What those guys are doing is wrong. Making the people I love feel like crying is wrong. And they need to be stopped. So I'm gonna fight them.
He needs everyone else to do the same. Not by picking up a sword, but by picking up their heads. And the best way to stay confident and defiant is with a friend. Subaru urges everyone, no matter where they are, to find strength in each other. Subaru's speech does the job, breaking Sirius's spell over people.
If you stay with me and don't back down, I'll keep going and never surrender. I'll fight!
It might not be a literal battle won, but it's a step in the right direction. They've won a small victory over Sirius and the other witches' cult members. In episode 58, everyone gathers at the government building to discuss their next steps. They all agree that the one thing they won't do is give in to any of the cultists' demands. They've already tried to go after their enemies one by one, but now they have a lot more information. Thanks to Amelia, they know where to find each archbishop. Wilhelm also reveals the identities of the two terrifying cultists they've been fighting. The huge blue man with extra arms is known as 8 Arms Kurgan, and the other one is the legendary master swordsman Teresia von Astrea, aka his dead wife.
Manipulating corpses.
They've both been dead for over 10 years, actually. Something has brought them back to life with forbidden magic to fight against Subaru and the others. Now that they know who they're up against, the group can strategize. They need to split up and decide who will go after which enemy. Reinhardt gains a new power that lets him see who can wield magic. Reinhardt informs them that the spunky songstress has magical powers of telepathy, which let her reach the emotions of other people. That makes her the perfect person to go after Sirius.
Leave everything to Liliana here, and I'm sure you won't regret it!
Pristella will accompany her, because her iron will can't be bent by Sirius's forced empathy. Besides, she might not look like much, but she's actually pretty skilled with a sword. Wilhelm and Garfield will battle against Capella and the two powerful cultists guarding her. It's only right that Wilhelm is the one to lay down his dead wife a second time, and Garfield is excited to test his strength against the many-armed Kurgan, who was known as a powerful warrior when he was alive.
Think of it this way. You're finally gonna get a chance to settle the score.
Beastman Ricardo and the Knight Julius will go after Gluttony. Subaru and Reinhardt will go strike at Regulus and rescue Amelia, and Anastasia will stay at the government office with the still hurt Crucier and her loyal attendant Felix. Subaru and Reinhardt better move fast though, because Amelia and Regulus are already at the altar of a beautiful cathedral. Regulus's other wives are all there to watch. They sit, unmoving and practically unblinking, as the ceremony prepares to start.
Once we become husband and wife, you'll no longer be allowed to smile.
The strong Amelia refuses to bend to Regulus. She will never be his bride. A marriage is supposed to be between two people who love each other, and her heart already belongs to another.
So, Regulus, I'm not going to be your new bride.
And speak of the devil, right on time, Subaru and Reinhardt crash the wedding. In episode 59, the teams of fighters all arrive at their destinations. The battle for the city of Pristella begins. Wilhelm and Garfield arrive at the base of a tower covered by a grotesque black goop that may or may not be Capella. They square off against the reanimated 8-armed Kurgan and Teresia. Meanwhile, Priscilla and Liliana find Sirius at another tower, and Julius and Ricardo prepare to fight one of the Gluttony brothers. Back with Otto, he finds some men fighting against the other Gluttony brother. Did you forget about him again? He's doing his best too. And Otto has made some new friends. Say hello to the city's water dragons. But the main attraction in this episode are Reinhardt and Subaru. Reinhardt has an amazing sword that he's never drawn a single time in the anime. The thing about this awesome sword is that it can't be drawn unless the sword deems his opponent worthy. And Regulus? He ain't worthy.
It appears my sword has deemed you an unfit opponent. My apologies.
Ooh, burn! Regulus goes berserk, threatening to kill all his wives, who don't even flinch. They just sit there, showing no emotion whatsoever. Unfortunately, Regulus's first target is the one closest to him, Amelia.
You may be a virgin in body and soul, but it means nothing. Impertinent woman. How dare you toy with my pure heart?
He holds her up by the throat with one hand and kills Reinhardt with the other? Reinhardt isn't staying down that easy, though. He's been blessed by the protection of the Phoenix. Jesus, how many different skills does this guy have? He's borderline protagonist level powerful. Over at the government building, trouble of a different kind is brewing. The black mess with Wilhelm and Garfield isn't actually the Archbishop of Lust. She's over at the government building with the vulnerable Felix and Crucier. In episode 60, it turns out that Anastasia predicted Capella's movements. She was disguised as Crucier to lure the Capella in. She leaps up from the bed and attacks Capella.
As soon as I heard that speech, I knew you'd be coming here before too long.
She's surprisingly strong, but it's not enough to take down the shape-shifting, constantly regenerating Capella. Luckily, she has some help. Pristilla's knight, Al. Meanwhile, the battle against Regulus rages on outside the cathedral. But so far, all they've done is make the guy mad that this beautiful wedding has been interrupted. He attacks Subaru, Reinhardt, and Amelia with the literal water of Pristella. Yikes! So far, nothing they've done has even left a scratch on Regulus. This guy seems invincible.
Kicking's vitals and balls didn't work. Where the hell is this guy's weak point?
There's got to be something that can damage him, right? Just then, Subaru has a big brain moment. Regulus, Sirius, Capella, Beetlejuice, all names of stars in the original world, and all their names have something to do with the Archbishop's origins. Regulus is the brightest star in the constellation Leo, also known by two other names, the Little King and the Heart of the Lion, and their opponent is someone who collects wives for his kingdom. Subaru connects the dots and makes a bold guess. Regulus's power must have something to do with his heart.
Reinhardt! Listen! You have to find out if his heart's beating or not!
Reinhardt confirms that Regulus's heart isn't beating, and Subaru figures out how Regulus is staying invincible. He's stopping time in his own body. Anything that happens to him while time is stopped doesn't damage him. The power must have something to do with all his wives. And now that he knows this, he has a plan. Meanwhile, Priscilla and Liliana have their own troubles over by the Tower of Sirius. The Archbishop of Wrath sure is obsessed with love. She zombifies a whole group of Pristella citizens. Liliana starts to fall under her spell too, but Priscilla quickly puts a stop to that with a passionate kiss. Great. Now no one will marry Liliana.
Would you mind explaining yourself? After what you just did, no one's gonna marry me now!
Such an overreaction.
Priscilla can't hurt Sirius without hurting all the innocent citizens caught up in her empathy power. It's up to Liliana to snap them out of their trance with a song. Episode 61 shows a flashback to Liliana's childhood. She grew up with a traveling troupe of bards, always goofy and clumsy. Even when she was young, she knew that she wanted to do something bigger. She grew tired of going from small town to small town singing the same old boring songs, so she said goodbye to her family and went on an adventure alone. It wasn't always an easy journey, But along the way, Liliana found herself and her voice.
This is a song! A song's come to me!
She found a reason to sing and a powerful way to reach people's hearts. And she uses that power now, in the present. She sprints to the top of the tower and belts out a song with all her heart. Her music clears Wrath's power from the people's hearts and fills them with joy and hope instead. Even Pristilla's kinda impressed. Pristella and Sirius continue to fight as the top of Liliana's tower collapses. She scrambles to its side and continues to sing,
Commendable. What resolve! Don't make me laugh!
and finally, Pristella lands the finishing blow on Sirius. That's one official victory. In episode 62, Amelia arrives at the church where her not-so-happy wedding was supposed to take place. Regulus's wives are still there, sitting and waiting. They're like robots. Their husband didn't tell them to move, so they haven't. Amelia appeals to the wife that helped her, number 184. She's afraid to stand up for herself alone, so she asks the other women if any of them love Regulus. The answer is unanimous. They all hate him.
I wish he'd just die. I hate him more each day.
Wife number 184 reveals that her name is Sylphie and agrees to help Amelia. Subaru figured out that Regulus stops time inside his own body to keep it pristine. But there's another part to it. To protect his heart, he attaches a bit of it to his wives' hearts. Inside every one of these wives is a small black piece of Regulus's heart. This means that the only way to defeat Regulus once and for all is to kill all 53 of his remaining wives. The brave women are all prepared to end their lives to stop Regulus.
What are you trying to do with that?
The only way to defeat him is to stop the beating heart he's attached his own to.
But Amelia finds another way to break them out of the equation temporarily. She freezes them all. Amelia rushes back to Reinhardt and Subaru, who were keeping Regulus distracted in combat. She rushes in and crushes Regulus with ice. This seems to hurt him a little, but still doesn't do any damage. And that's because there's one last piece of Regulus's heart left, and it's inside Amelia.
All you need to do is kill that girl standing right in front of you.
Subaru reaches into Amelia with the unseen hand power, rips the last piece of Regulus's heart out, and crushes it. Now, finally, Regulus can be defeated. Amelia, Reinhardt, and Subaru attack Regulus, who's still going on about how perfect and awesome he is. He's not so awesome anymore when Reinhardt smashes him deep into the center of the earth and floods it with water. Good riddance.
The idea of slowly dying here while that insufferable gets to avenge her mother and Betelgeuse makes me wanna vomit!
Amelia unfreezes the wives, who are all free to go and live actual lives now. That's victory number 2 in the bag, baby! Episode 63 turns the attention to Garfield and Al, each fighting their own separate battle. Garfield's fight against Kurgan moves into the underground canals of Pristella. Garfield's still haunted by Elsa, who sows seeds of self-doubt into his mind. Maybe he's not as powerful as he thinks. Maybe he can't defeat the burly, many-armed man before him. Garfield and Kurgan break into an underground shelter, where some people are waiting out the cultists' invasion. Among them are Garfield's new siblings.
Stay back, okay?
Oh, he has to protect them. Everyone cheers Garfield on, giving Garfield the boost he needs to defeat Kurgan. Kurgan falls apart, earning Subaru's friends another win. Meanwhile, in the government building, Al fights Capella, the shape-shifting Archbishop of Lust. Capella's incredible shape-shifting powers mean she can regenerate pretty much forever. But Al can keep fighting pretty much forever, so they're pretty well matched.
A shape-shifting woman is pretty terrifying, but putting the princess in a bad mood is a whole lot scarier.
Al is also seemingly immune to Capella's charms, even when she transforms into Pristella. Al is still a complete mystery. He keeps his face hidden and works for Pristella, but he doesn't seem to be her servant and is always off doing his own thing. Actually, he's probably the one who opened the water gates to help buy the others some time. He might not win against Capella in this battle, but it's clear from the way this is going that he's not giving up anytime soon. Episode 64 turns to Wilhelm and his battle against his dead wife, Theresia. Through another flashback, we learn Theresia and Wilhelm's love story. Theresia was the kind and gentle girl who loved flowers. She belonged to the Estrella family, which had the special power of the Master Swordsman. This power, unlike any others, was passed down from generation to generation. It chose the person in the Estrella family who was worthy of wielding it and moved into it. Theresia had a number of strong brothers, but for some reason, the power of the Master Swordsman chose her to wield it.
Pick up your sword, Theresia.
And so, Theresia learned to fight at a very young age, and she continued to fight until she met a young man named Wilhelm. He trained until he could beat her in battle, so that he could fight for her and she could put down her sword. And so, she did. They formed a happy life together, had a child named Heinkel, and lived a happy life. Until one day, she decided to join the fight against the white whale.
I want to know, do you love me?
While she was out there, the power of the swordsman chose the worst possible time to leave her and go into Reinhardt. So, she was left as a completely mortal human being in the middle of a battlefield against a giant flying whale. Theresia died on that battlefield, and Wilhelm never saw his wife again, until now. As Wilhelm fights the reanimated Theresia, Heinkel arrives on the scene. He watches in horror as his own father tries to kill his mother, who he thought was already dead all this time. Wilhelm is wounded, and Theresia turns her attention to Heinkel, but Reinhardt arrives to save the day. Oh, good. The whole happy family's here. Reinhardt faces his dead grandmother and finally draws his sword for the very first time. He puts the ghost of Theresia out of her misery. Wilhelm holds his dying wife in his arms. He has to lose her again, but this time, he gets to say goodbye. Theresia returns to her senses long enough for Wilhelm to tell her something he never said when she was alive, that he loves her.
Theresia, please know
I told you. I'll always love you.
Their tragic story comes to an end, and Subaru's party secures another victory. In episode 65, Julius and Ricardo fight against one of the Gluttony brothers, while Otto takes on the other. Oh, hey, did you forget about Otto again? Don't worry about it. Everyone does. That's what makes him so perfect for this fight. See, the two Gluttony brothers, Roy and Lai, can steal people's memories. We saw them do it to Crucier and Rem, but they need to know the person's name to do it. And Otto, well, no one remembers his name.
But please avoid saying my name.
To be honest, I never knew your name in the first place.
Poor, forgettable Otto. But at least he's safe from Gluttony's memory-stealing attacks. Otto's not really a fighter, but he does his best. Ricardo and Julius don't have as much luck. Gluttony seems to be able to predict their every attack, especially Julius. There's some connection between Gluttony and Julius.
Do you remember? You really don't remember!
It seems that maybe Julius used to have a brother once, who's been long forgotten. And while those two battles rage on, Al continues to destroy Capella over and over and over, and every time, she just pulls herself right back to normal. Anastasia and Felix join the fray, but just when things seem to be heating up, Capella decides she's done fighting and just leaves.
I think for tonight, I'll say my goodbyes.
Huh?
Actually, it's kind of probably for the best. They have no idea how to defeat the Archbishop of Lust. Yet. Episode 66 is the final episode of Season 3. All they have left is to defeat Gluttony. A restored Betty joins the battle to help Otto. Felt also arrives to help, carrying a magical weapon she got from one of her contacts in the black market.
You believe that would make the Sword Saint cry? You've got to be kidding me. No, Felt!
Gluttony tries to devour Felt, but fails miserably. Felt isn't even her real name. That's just the name Old Man Rom gave her when he found her in the streets. She has no idea what her real name is. Betty helps Felt activate the magic weapon and blasts Gluttony with a powerful magic attack. Nice. Things are finally looking up until the final Gluttony sibling attacks Otto, skinning his legs. Ow. That's right, there are 3 of them. There's Roy, Lai, and Rui Arneb. Their sister?
Archbishop of the Witches' Cult, representing Gluttony, Rui Arneb.
Oh, yeah, okay, their sister. Rui helps her brothers escape, and the fight ends without a winner. Subaru meets with all his friends in the aftermath of the huge battle against all the Witches' Cult archbishops. Everyone gathers and takes stock of the image. Ricardo lost a hand in the fight against Gluttony. Otto, Garfield, and Crucier are the worst ones off, but they'll survive. Anastasia gives control of Pristella back to its original ruler, the songstress maniac, who had been under Sirius's control. Speaking of Sirius, Priscilla has her captured and chained up.
I only have true love in my heart for you, my dear, just you and nobody else.
Having someone from the Witches' Cult might be dangerous, but it could also be extremely useful, as each archbishop seems to want something different. But she does know that Gluttony will be back for Subaru. Amelia gets the crystal she wanted from Al, of all people. He's the one who woke Betty up from her slumber with the crystal he got from the songstress maniac. This guy's getting more and more mysterious by the minute. The city is still full of humans turned beasts thanks to Capella, so Amelia freezes them like she did with the wives. They'll stay suspended in time here until they can figure out a way to turn them back into humans. And that seems to be the last loose thread all tied up. The next morning, Liliana's song fills the air as Subaru and his friends prepare to leave Pristella. He and Amelia stop by to talk to Julius when Subaru realizes something horrible.
Subaru, are you saying you know who I am? Huh?
Amelia has no idea who Julius is. Oh, not again. That's the entire story of ReZero, at least so far. There are still many questions left unanswered. I'm sure a lot of things will become clearer when the 4th season starts in April 2026. But until then, feel free to click the previews on screen to watch another one of my videos. And in the meantime, peace!